Hey everybody, thanks for joining me here tonight. Appreciate it. Shout out to everyone that's in the chat. Bryden, Donnie, Laura, Section, Damone, Bad Guy, everyone else that's in here. Tonight I'll be interviewing Bill about his addiction and basically his history of addiction. Hey WPG, how's it going? Hey Mail Order, how's it going? Yeah, as I wait for Bill to come on panel, Brian, you want to jump up on here for a minute? Oh wait, oh, all right, hang on. All right, never mind. Bill's already in the thing. Bill, you up? Uh-oh. Huh. Wonder why I didn't let Bill up here. Hey, Christine. Bill, try getting back in. I don't know what happened. That's the right link. Yeah, Bill, can you try getting back in? I don't know what happened. Oh, hey, Cat Eyes. Hey, Sarah. Oh, thanks, Ben. I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Bill tried to get on and it didn't let him up. That's the right link, so it should work. Hey, Brian, try getting up here for a minute. I want to see. Yeah, thank you again for everyone. Okay, hang on. Okay, okay, there we go.
Can you?
Oh, hey,
All right,
hey,
cool.
Bill,
I'm gonna hop
everybody.
back down then.
Yeah, hey guys, how's it going? Hey, Bill.
Me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I don't know what happened earlier.
Oh, fucking fuck you. Try this again.
Yeah, see your robot in there a little bit. Hey, Penny, thanks for joining. Appreciate it. Hey, Miss Triple X, how's it going? Thank you everyone for joining. Appreciate it. So, thank you, Bill, for being here tonight. I really appreciate it. Oh, hey, Julie. So, Bill, you want to start from the beginning, or? Uh-oh, might be muted. Oh, don't tell me his internet connection can be bad. Oh, hey, Hills. Hey, Pierre, how's it going? Doing okay. Bill, do you got bad Wi-Fi or something? if Bill isn't able to make it here tonight, I got a backup plan. And Brian, you could jump up on panel for this one. And Damone, you can too if you want. Yeah, we'll try again in a few minutes. So if it doesn't work again for Bill, I'll go to my backup plan. But Brian, you can jump up here for a minute if you like, till Bill comes back. Yeah, sorry about this, people. Yeah, if my interview with Bill doesn't... Oh, wait, hang on a second. Okay, Bill's back. Hey, Bill.
Hey, are we doing?
I can hear you a little bit better.
Good.
Yeah, you're still roboting a little, but...
I had to climb up a tree. I don't have.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Come on.
Oh, hey, Chantel. Yeah, but thank you for being here tonight. Appreciate it. Hey, Amish.
I climb higher up in the tree because I haven't eaten a lot here. Is that better?
Yeah, that's fine. Do you want to start from... You want to start from the beginning, or?
Yeah, probably the best place to start. I mean, the way I tell stories is I end up on tangents and remember shit that may or may not be relevant. So feel free to steer me back into the right conversations. I get up on tangents and shit, but
Okay, but before you start though, before you start, you're naked though, right?
Oh. Yeah. Didn't you read the paperwork I said?
Oh yeah, I have my lawyers check it over. All right, go ahead,
Good.
Bill.
Yeah. Just have your people talk to my people and whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, my drug story is, well, I say probably most opioid users, even people that went to heroin, which luckily I missed the heroin bullet because time I had shitloads of money and I could just buy all the pills I wanted. I never had to go to heroin.
Mm-hmm.
Started out, I didn't get into drugs. I mean, I'm not saying I never dabbled. I did like maybe twice a year. I would like get enough with somebody because that shit. People talk about how hydrocodone knocks them out. That shit would make me hurt, and I would just go. So I mean, there's that, and I don't really had cocaine. I don't know, 5 or 6 times until I started. Until let myself become a junkie, but I got hurt on the job, and there's not a cool story with it. You know, all the fucking car accidents and fights and shit I've had, and really get too damaged. It was a dumb fucking thing. All I did was lean over and pick up an empty skittle and weighed about 40 pounds, and something went wrong. When I'm going to the doctor, and they said I had degenerative disc disease, plus I had a piece of the disc that slipped into the spinal cord, and like a little piece broke off, and it's still in there. They can't surgery. They
Bill, you're starting to robot again really bad.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you're starting to robot again really bad.
There's nothing I can do about it, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do about it. So.
Yeah, we'll just take it as we can. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Let me climb a little higher into this tree. All right, is that in there?
That's a little better, yeah. All right, go ahead.
You're waiting for me. Let me jump off and try to jump back on. I'm sorry about this, man.
Okay, no problem. I hope everyone's doing well tonight. Yeah, sorry about this, everybody. It's not Bill's fault. It's just bad internet connection. Anyway, Claw, and no problem there, Amish. Appreciate you being here. Well, you got an update there, Christine? Yeah, I'm doing pretty good, section. Thanks for asking. Appreciate it. Yeah, as I wait for Bill. Brian, you want to come up here for a quick second? So I can mention or ask you about something? Oh.
Look.
Hey, Brian.
That pink compared to orange.
Hey, what's going on, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I hear some background noise, but I'm going to make this quick. Next week, I'm thinking about doing an episode about the justice system.
Perfect, man. I went to school for that.
Nice, but how a lot of like a lot of the chomos get life sentences, and how like certain areas like Houston, Bakersfield don't care.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah, I'm going to do that next week. Like for you and PHI to be on panel for that.
Okay. Do you have any idea like what day, or is it going to be Friday?
Yeah, I guess I'm doing like Fridays at 8 now.
Okay. Sounds good to me, man.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. I appreciate it.
Hey, not a problem.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody in chat, by the way. I think I
Uh,
said hello to everybody pretty much. Outside of Kid Nurse, what's up, dude?
Oh, hey, kid. Okay, I'm still sober, lost 4 pounds, feel great, and no time to look back now. That's great, Christine. Keep up the great work. You can do it.
Oh, hell yeah. Good job, Christy.
Yeah. Man, Bill's got a really interesting story, you know, and I know a lot of people will be interested in hearing it, so.
I'm going to go ahead and assume it has something to do with cocaine.
Okay.
Well, I could be wrong, but I kind of doubt it.
Yeah, but you know he's got the internet issues, so if it falls through with him, we could do it tonight. But PHI's not here though.
Gotcha. Oh, that was your backup plan?
Yeah, I could have done it tonight.
It's a pretty interesting subject, that's for sure.
Yeah, like remember what happened with Ghost with the how the cop was really disrespectful towards him and stuff.
Yeah, the one that like kind of forearm pushed him or whatever. That guy.
Yeah, I want to talk about like stuff like that too. Like, how did the catchers feel? Like, I probably want to get Kyle up on here too, see from his point of view.
Yeah, might want to hang off or hold off on that one.
Yeah, but
and you know that'll give us a chance to look through a few things and make it a really interesting panel rather than trying to just do it off the wing.
Yeah, but I really would like for Bill to tell his story. Okay, hang on a second. Yeah, it could be him again. You can stay up on panel and listen if you like, Brian.
Yeah, I got all these. Well, you know what? I do have a mute option on my mic, so I might.
All right. Bill, is your internet better?
Fuck, man. Now I hear 2 different streams going. I'm sorry about this. Let me try it one more time. If I don't get it this time, fuck it.
Well, you sound good anyways, Bill.
You sound better than earlier.
All right. I can hear 2 streams. I'll tell you what, I'll take the headset off, so I'm not going to be able to hear you, but you'll be able to hear me, and I'll just flap. How about that?
Well, you could probably be hearing the feedback off of Bryden, though, like the noise.
That's probably what it is, man.
All right.
Let me know if it's any better.
I can't think.
All right. Can you hear better now? Bill?
I still hear 2 streams. Let me do this one more time. If this don't work, I'll come back another time.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, Tanya.
Hey, Tanya. For if it falls through a Bill, we'll just talk about the recent catches that happened. Penny's comment. I just gifted girls homecoming gowns in her hometown so they could go to their homecoming dance tonight. They both look beautiful. Oh,
That's awesome, Penny.
Yeah, nice job for doing it there, Penny.
Yeah, my son's got his homecoming tonight. He's at the dance with his girlfriend.
Okay, I got an idea. Damone, if Bill can't make it on panel tonight, you want to come up and talk about your story? All right. Okay, it's Bill again. Hopefully this works. Bill?
Yeah, can you guys hear me this time?
Yeah, I can hear you a lot better.
Uh-oh. Ah, fuck, I still hear two of me, but fuck it, I'm just gonna talk.
Okay.
God damn it. I can't do this. I'm sorry. I can't fucking hear myself think. One
That's
more
very cool.
time. Hey, I tell you what, text me the link so I don't have to do it through YouTube.
I would have to get out of the StreamYard link.
Yeah.
I would have to get out of here. I don't think I can.
I can do it for him.
Okay. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it. Yeah, Damone, if it falls through Bill tonight, you want to come up on panel and talk about what's going on with you? Yeah, sorry about this again, everybody. It's, just internet connections. Yeah, keep up the great work, Damone.
I got a brain fart, man. What's his IG?
Bill effing Powell. All right, hang on. Bill?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, fuck, that is so much better. When I can hear myself talk and I'm not really talking, I don't know if that's real or if it's the voices in my head. So,
Yeah,
okay.
it's understandable.
Start this over again. My drug story is a lot like probably most opioid users in America. Like, I was really into drugs when I was younger. I didn't start into this shit until I got hurt. There's no fun story about it. I just leaned over, picked up this kid, and things went wrong. Found out I had degenerative disc disease, which I never had any back problems before, so it surprised me. Like 2 years worth of physical therapy and all this other shit the whole time. They're feeding painkillers. And started out with Vicodin. And I took Vicodin for about 2 years, and I handled that okay. I never really got hooked on it. Like, if I had a 3-day weekend and we weren't going someplace, I would like day without taking any pills to make sure I could do it. And it wasn't the pain, it was really a problem. Like, I didn't crave it, I didn't Jones, I didn't it just wasn't a problem. And for 2 years they were feeding me Vicodin, which I thought I was doing pretty good because my prescription was for 7.5 over 750 a day, but I was only taking like 3 or 4. And the only reason I was taking them was because I wanted to do shit. My kids were little, and I wanted to do shit with them. And I had to work. You know what I mean? I always had more than one job going at the time. So the Vicodin helped me do that. Like before that, I wasn't really into drugs. I would drink like motherfucker. I guess we should go back. like the night stuff, I would sneak around drinking. Like, I was always the guy who was driving around.
Bill, you're roboting again.
Well, there's nothing I can do about it, man. So if it's too bad, I'll just go.
Oh, no, we'll make the best of it. We'll just make. So you sound fine there now. I don't understand.
I don't know. I'm in a shitty area for internet connection. I went someplace where it's better, but it's my fault.
Don't worry about it. We'll just make the best of it.
So anyway, when I was younger, I wasn't like, sometimes I would drink like a motherfucker, but when I was 19 and 20, like I started drinking pretty much every day for about 2 years straight. And when I decided that was stupid and I wasn't accomplishing anything, I just quit, and it wasn't a problem. Like, I didn't crave it, I didn't get the shakes or anything. And the alcoholic gene runs in my family, so my mom was pretty worried about it because her dad was an alcoholic and all my uncles are alcoholics.
Yeah.
And my cousins too, but like that gene I think missed me because I never got hooked on alcohol. I do abuse it, but not addicted to it. Same thing with cocaine. I've played with that, and you got to be careful. But like, I haven't, like, if I go on a 3 or 4 day run, coming down from that, a motherfucker. And I can tell people get hooked on it because, like, you'll just want to do a little bit to make that that, I don't know how to describe it, that anxiety and just like the depression that comes with it, which is what gets me every time when I relapse, is the fucking depression. I can deal with the physical stuff. It's the places your mind goes, when you're withdrawing.
Yeah.
But anyway, I got hurt at work, and they started giving me the Vicodin, which I was able to control that for about 2 years. And then I went to a different doctor, a pain management doctor, and he said, well, all that Tylenol in the Vicodin is gonna burn out your liver, so we're gonna switch you to OxyContin. Which, like, I knew people that were hooked. That was back, OxyContin hadn't been around all that long, right? But doctors were telling you, oh, it's not as addictive as Percocet. Percocet and OxyContin are both oxycodone. And I knew people that were hooked on Percocets like a motherfucker. And like, I was like, how can this be the same drug, but not be as addictive? It's still going in your body. And they're like, oh, it's time released and all, which after a while, I got around all that time release shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And which wasn't back that they make them different now, but back then, before they had them, whatever that matrix is they put them in, before that, you could just scrape the coating off and crush them up and boom. So anyway, at first, they were prescribing me 3, started out as 20s, then it went to 40s. The problem was I should have stayed with the original doctor because these other doctors were just shoving the shit down my face, right?
Yeah.
And the one in particular, like, he would say, hey, how's your pain? And if I didn't say, oh, it's managed, it's great, he would just up the dose. I mean, sometimes, like, I didn't even know he upped the dose until I went to pick him up. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't talk to me about it. He would just up it. And I did the same thing. Like, I was prescribed 3 of those a day, plus Vicodin for breakthrough pain. Plus, I was also taking, I had prescriptions for like Xanax and Klonopin and Halcyon and all this other shit. Usually it was only 1 or 2 benzos at a time, but like they switched them around back and forth because the shit don't work. Nothing ever works like they say it will. So anyway, I had this big stockpile. I like in my my survival packs, I had like big wads of Vicodin and stuff everywhere because I had all these extras, right?
Yeah.
Well, when I got on the OxyContin, for a while I was stockpiling that too. I figured if anything happens, I'll have the shit and I'll be okay. But it didn't take very long, and I completely lost control of the OxyContin. And like, I've never had a drug charge, I've never had a DUI, I've never had to steal to support my habit. So like, I kind of wish that I would have gotten some trouble, like way back in the beginning. That might have made me, at least dry out or some shit. I don't know. But I didn't have to go out, other than buying the shit off the street. I didn't have to go out and break laws to support it. And what I wound up doing was when you're into whatever drug it is, like if you're at a crowded mall and you look at the crowd, whatever you're hooked on, you can look in the crowd, even if they're not doing anything crazy, and you can pick people out that are on whatever you're on. It doesn't matter what it is. You can just look at them and pick it out.
True.
And so I got pretty good at finding out like who had, you know, and I dealt with a lot of like older people that weren't out doing crazy shit, so they weren't on the radar. And I would go and I would just, what they were doing is like once in a while they would sell so and so like 5 or 10 or whatever pills. And I would go to them and I'd be like, hey, instead of, selling this to 3 or 4 people and taking the chance that when any one of them gets arrested, they're going to rat you out. So why take the chance? Just let me buy your whole prescription, and then you don't have to worry about it. Every month you just hand them right to me. The day you get them, I pay you cash, and you're done. You got your money for the month. Mm-hmm. And that I did that with a bunch of people, because one had a friend and the other had a friend, and they were all on the same stuff I was on, and I just wound up buying up all their prescriptions. So like I didn't have to go out and deal with gun carrying drug dealers, right?
Yeah.
So that also helped escalate my habit. And before I knew it, like at the height of it, I was taking at least 1,000 milligrams of Oxycontin a day, plus whatever Vicodin I could get a hold of. And that stockpile that I had,
yeah,
like once I lost control, all that shit was gone pretty quick. I mean, really quick. So after that, I mean, once you get used to a certain amount, if you don't have that amount, you're going out of your fucking mind. Like you can't do anything. You're sick. Your mind goes to very dark places. I couldn't even, I don't even know, like when I was trying to withdraw or just ran out or whatever, like I would just leave the house because I didn't want to be around my family like that. Right. So I'd be out in the woods, like pointing a gun at my head, trying to work up the nerve to pull the trigger, and then kind of hoping that I would hit it accidentally. You know what I mean? Like instead of having to have the guts to pull the trigger, like you would just do it by accident, and it would go off. Right. Wishing for that to happen. I don't even know how many times I did that. So yeah, when you're trying to withdraw, your mind goes to some pretty dark places, and you do fucked up things.
Yeah, that's true.
So I mean, there is so much shit. Like I was talking to my ex about this the other day, and this is what tore my family up. And it was I wasn't doing fucked up things to them. My ex and I, the whole time we were together for 15 years, and we only argued. I could probably count on one hand the amount of times that we actually argued, that whole time. Mm-hmm. But what it was she said, she's like, I can't sit around here and watch you killing yourself. She said, I feel like I'm watching you die and I can't stand it. And I was like, okay, I mean, I understand. I hated it, but I understood. But every time I would try to clean up, like they would see me sick and shaking, and like I wouldn't be able to do anything. I would look for any excuse, like, oh shit, the old lady needs her car fixed. Okay, I need to go get some more pills so I can fix her car. You know what I mean? Any excuse. And then there were times where, okay, what I'm telling you next is after they left. Like I just laid in my house and was trying to quit. But at the same time, like that house that I used to like so much, when I bought it, I started fixing it up. I put a new roof on it, I put new windows in it, built a deck, all that shit. Once I got hurt, all that kind of came to a screeching halt, right? So I didn't get it finished, but that house just felt like a fucking empty tomb, because it used to have all my kids in it, and all of a sudden they're gone. Mm-hmm. So that kind of made things worse, even though I really was trying to quit. But then for a couple of years, I was doing like 1,000 milligrams a day, and plus all the benzodiazepines and all the other shit. And like cocaine's not really. I make way more jokes about cocaine than I actually do cocaine.
Yeah.
But that didn't really become a part of my life until I don't know, say I don't know, about 2015 or so. I mean, I had done it before that, but I was going to buy, huh?
That it became more part of your life, basically.
Yeah, not like I've never gotten addicted to it, but in the past, I was always like, nah, I don't want to touch any hard drugs or whatever, you know, which, you know, I did try it a few times, but like I didn't want it to be a regular thing. And it's still not really a regular thing, but
Yeah.
yeah, I make way more jokes about cocaine than I actually do it. Right.
Yeah, we know.
But
like we don't actually think like you swim in it or anything like it, you know.
right, yeah. I mean, there are times. I mean, fucking like I've been all fucked up, especially the back like when Locksmith first started his channel.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd be on there like fucked up all this shit, you know, and just not remember a damn thing about it. Like people would hear me snorting it on there, and then like I would like deny that I was snorting it sometimes, but like people could plainly hear it. Like I went back and listened to it a couple of times, and yeah, it's pretty fucking obvious. And then other times when I would be like, yeah. Other times people would accuse me. I wasn't. Oh yeah, okay, I'm doing it right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shoot. I'm not on certain. Bill?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're starting to roll out there a little bit again. Continue with your story.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. I can hear you better again.
Well, anyway. Oh God, what was the last thing I said? Fucking ADD. But anyway, so I got clean for I thought it was only like 20 months, and I've never been able to tell you, you know, like people will say, you know, October 17th was the last time I got high or whatever. Like I don't fucking remember when the last time I did anything was, you know, so I've never been like that, but and I can't do meetings, it's just not my thing. So I just laid in my house for like 2.5 months. I was in hard withdrawal for 2.5 months, right? I mean hard withdrawal.
Mm-hmm.
And I fucking like I wasn't eating, so I have the metabolism of a ferret on crack, right? So I didn't have any body fat, so I was losing all muscle. You know, I just lost a ton of weight. And like my cousin, he's in prison now, but he was coming over and checking on me.
Mm-hmm.
And like I was just laying on the floor, just like not talking to him or whatever. And that motherfucker, at the time, I was grateful, you know. But that motherfucker went and got me some pills. And he's like, "You need to take these or you're going to die." I'm like, "Oh, all right." I mean, you can't fucking, somebody that's in hard withdrawal like that, if you lay it in the front of their face, they are going to take it. I don't care how strong willed you are, you're going to do it.
That's true.
And like at that point, like I had deleted all the people that I was getting stuff off of, I had deleted them all out of my phone. That way I couldn't call them up and be like, "Hey, I need something." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that happened, and I was able to finally sleep after I don't even know how long it had been since I'd slept. When you're withdrawing from opioids, you don't sleep. You lay there and you just shake, and it's a mess. But
and you have the sweats.
Oh yeah, yeah. See, like I don't puke when I'm gonna withdraw. I shouldn't say never. I only puked in withdrawal like maybe 5 or 6 times. I just don't have to puke. The runs, on the other hand, is a different story. Like you'll take loperamide like it's going out of style.
Oh shit.
And then somebody showed me a trick. Like if you take like a shitload of loperamide and drink grapefruit juice with it, because loperamide is an opiate. It's made from the same plant that heroin's made out of.
Mm-hmm.
But the molecule doesn't cross the blood-brain barrier, so you don't get high off of it. But if you take what was it, grapefruit juice and Tagamet, I think it was Tagamet. I hope I'm not giving away too many tricks here, but if you take that while you take like 100 milligrams of loperamide, it helps it cross the blood-brain barrier. And I never really got high, but it stopped the withdrawals like completely. Like no more restless legs. I could sleep. And I did that a few times. But the thing is I was in such a rough shape. Like there's no way I could have gone to a store for myself. And like I had cut everybody off except for like my parents and my kids. And even then I would tell them, don't come over, you know?
Yeah.
But like calling your mom and say, hey mom, can you go to the store and get me like 30 boxes of loperamide and some Tagamet? You know what I mean? Yeah, not good.
No.
So I mean now they have limits on it, but back then they didn't. So anyway, I got clean for, I thought it was only 20 months, but my ex says it was a little over 2 years. I don't know. She pays more attention to stuff than I do. And then in 2019, like all my in-person friends are dead, right? And in 2019, and I've lost a bunch of people to suicide.
Sorry to
some
hear
of
that.
like some of them, like I know it wasn't my fault that they did it, but I felt like I could have done more to stop it. You know, so I carry that shit around with me all the time. And then in 2019, my last living friend JB, he his mom called me up one day and she said, "Hey, have you talked to him in the last couple of days?" I was like, "No, I texted him yesterday, but he didn't text me back," which was not abnormal. A lot of times he didn't text me back till the next day. And she said, "Well," and JB was a really tough dude, right? And biker and all that kind of shit. But anyways, his mom called me. He's like, "You talked to him in a couple of days?" I said, "No." And she said, "Well, his job called and he hasn't showed up or called in." And right then, I knew what happened. So I went to his house, and he kept his house pretty much locked up like Fort Knox, right? But I found a way to get in. I got in, and the way I went in, I came up through the back of the house, and as soon as I got inside, I could see his bedroom door was wide open, which he never left that bedroom door open. So I started walking towards it, and like I could see stuff on the wall. Like I could see like from behind the bed, I could see a little bit of him. And so I walked up. I shouldn't even have walked up there because there was that smell. I mean, the air conditioner was on, but it was the middle of yeah. So anyway, walked in there and he was, done. And I don't know what the fuck happened. Like, I usually handle tense situations pretty well, but I didn't handle that very good at all. Like I didn't call 911 right away. I went. He had a music studio set up in part of his garage. I went out there and fucked around. He had a fence that he kept saying, "We need to fix that. We need to fix that." And we just never did. I went out and fixed that fence.
Yeah.
What else was there? Oh, he had chickens. I fed his chickens. I just let them go loose. Don't know whatever happened to him, but so anyway, I fucked around, and I don't know why I didn't call 911 right away. I mean, there's nothing they could do anyway, but I wanted to make sure all of his stuff was caught up. You know what I mean? In my mind, it would have meant something to him, even though he don't fucking know.
Yeah.
So anyway, I called 911, and they came and took him away. But so I was carrying that around with me, and I was like, I would drink some at that time, but like I wasn't hooked on alcohol. And I went home, got drunker and fuck. Like I didn't have any pills to speak of, but I was wanting them pretty bad. And I'm like, no, just don't relapse over this. And like sometimes the way my spine's fucked up, there's a little piece of a disc that like snapped off and it's still in there. They can't do surgery because if they fuck up, it'll paralyze me.
Oh my God.
So like if that moves or whatever, like I get to where like I really can't get around and do shit, and that was happening a lot. Like sometimes I can't play guitar because I have so much nerve damage in my spine that I can't feel my fingers very well.
Yeah.
But if I take sometimes if I take a shitload of Lyrica, then I can, you know.
Because
So
it numbs the pain.
yeah, and it's not with guitar playing. It's not even so much the pain as it is. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of pins and needles, but it's not even that. It's the like not being able to feel the guitar strings
Hmm.
and not being able to move your fingers fast enough.
Yeah.
It's not about the pain because I could play through the pain with the guitar, but I can't tell where my fingers are at sometimes, you know.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, I just got off on a tangent and forgot the point I was actually trying to make.
You're at the where you found your friend who passed away.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So anyway, I'm dealing with that, and then that brought up a lot of other old memories of very similar things. So I'm carrying all this shit around, and when I was younger, I had 4 nasty car accidents within 3 months. I wasn't driving for any of them, thank God. But in 2 of them, people died, but I didn't really get hurt. I mean, I got hurt, but not bad.
Yeah.
And one of those, I kind of feel like was my fault because like I had been drinking in my apartment, and somebody called and said, "Hey, you want to go to this party?" I'm like, "Well, I'm already drinking. I can't. You know, I'm not going to drive out there." So this couple that happened to be friends of mine, I was more friends with the guy than his old lady, but they came to pick me up, and he had oh gosh, what year? Like a '78 Bonneville. I can't remember the year exactly. '78, '79, I don't remember, but a big old freaking boat of a car. They had the bench seats front and back where you could. I mean, dude, you can have a fucking 3-way in that back seat and be comfortable. And so anyway, the couple he was driving and she was in the front passenger seat. I was in the back, and like I was sitting down, but I was leaning up with my arms and like hanging on the back of the seat in between them. And I was making jokes and shit and making them laugh. And I remember he had, you know, he's driving, he had one hand on the wheel and like he was using his other hand, you know how people move their hands when they talk. He was doing that and looking at me, right? Because I was making him laugh.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what he saw. I don't know if a deer ran out. I do not know what he saw, but I saw him look forward real fast and look scared. And next thing I remember, I was out, and luckily for me, the field was real muddy. And what had happened was, I don't know what he tried to swerve for. I have no idea. But the car kind of dove down into a ditch and hit the other side of the bank.
Oh shit!
And of course, the car came. I mean, luckily for me, not for them, but it was muddy, so that kind of absorbed some of the impact. We were going. They said we were going 70 some miles an hour, but I don't know. I don't remember it being that fast, but they said we were. And so anyway, I turned, and there's a lot of room in those cars, and like I spun in midair, and like my back hit the windshield, and the windshield popped out, and like I went out into the field. But the field was real muddy, so it absorbed the impact, and I didn't really get hurt too bad. I was like sore for a while, but like it didn't really fuck me up. But and I think I probably lost consciousness for a little while. I don't know, but I remember climbing up off of the. Oh man, how did that go? Fuck. The detail, I remember it a little bit differently every time. But anyway, I get up out of the field, and like he was like he was killed instantly. We'll just say that. I don't want to get into the graphic details, but she was still alive.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as I know, she's still alive to this day. But she was so fucked up that they said she would be in a wheelchair for the rest of her life. And I lost contact with her a long time ago. Last I knew, she still was.
Sorry to hear that.
But yeah, Anyway, she was bleeding out, and like in my vehicle, I always carry first aid shit, right? But there was nothing there, so it was cold. I had a leather jacket on, so I took my leather jacket off and covered her up, and I took my t-shirt off and cut it up to try to bandage her. Now you got to remember at that time, like nobody had cell phones, right?
Yeah.
So we're out in the middle of nowhere, no cell phone. And it's fucking, I don't know, midnight or 2 o'clock. I don't remember, but so I mean, when shit like that happens, what you would do is like you would just run down the road or run down through a cornfield and at the nearest security light, because out here in the country, everybody has a big ass security light, so so just try to ward off thieves, right?
Yeah.
And everybody around here answers the door after dark with a shotgun. I mean, you're like, if you live around here, you just know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I ran through this muddy ass field, and it's hard to run through the mud like that. And went to the nearest security light, knocked on the door. Of course, Farmer Joe answers the door with a 12 gauge, and I've got blood all over me, right? And I don't have a shirt on, and I think it was like 45 degrees. I don't remember, but so anyway, he was pretty understanding, once he got the shotgun out of my face and I told him what was going on. And so he told his wife to call for an ambulance, and he put me in his truck. We drove back down there, and from after, it's kind of a blur. Like, I don't really remember how long it took. I mean, out here, it can take 30 minutes to get an ambulance or longer.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember. But I just remember she was bleeding out, and I'm not a real religious guy, but man, I'm just fucking praying for somebody to get there, And
Yeah.
so yeah, that kind of shit is what I mean. A lot of people in this community become drug addicts because they were, molested or had horrible childhoods. I don't have that story. Nothing like that ever happened to me.
Yeah.
Which is, way worse than the shit that I went through. But like, I have all these deaths that weren't really. I mean, there was some I'm not going to talk about that were my fault, but so yeah, I carry all that shit around. But anyway, circling back to 2019, I went and saw my doctor, and I'm like, hey, I need you to give me some Xanax or something back. And he said, okay, but I mean, now they can't prescribe you opioids and benzodiazepines together. They can't do it, at least not in Indiana. They can't do it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to him and I'm like, hey, I need some Xanax or something. My buddy just blah blah blah. And he's like, well, he said most of your problems, because that doctor has known me for a long time. Like we were friends before he was my doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And so he knows about the shit I used to do, like the bounty hunting and the skydiving and like all the other shit. And he's like, you went from being very active to down to zero, which he's right. Once I wasn't able to work anymore, I feel completely fucking useless.
Mm-hmm.
When you go from a 90-mile-an-hour life to a 3-mile-an-hour life, your mind just fucking goes to dark places.
Yeah.
He's like, why don't we start treating your pain again? And I'm like, no fucking way. I'm not taking fucking oxys anymore. And he's like, no, we'll try something else. I mean, which people say an opioid is an opioid, but that's not really true, because I could control the Vicodin, I could control the Norcos. I can control the morphine to a degree, which is what he put me back on.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, I'm not taking oxys anymore. And he's like, no, we won't ever give you that. So put me on morphine. And he was right. Like, a big part of my depression was not being able to do shit. So, but with decent pain pills, I can do shit. And that really did help. But me being me, I'm like, okay, one, it makes me feel good. Two, ought to make me feel better. I'd been through all this shit before. I knew better. I just didn't give a fuck. I quit giving a fuck about a lot of things.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, now I kind of go in binges. Like, I'll get cleaned up for a few months and then binge for a few months and back and forth. And it's a fucking cycle. And I mean, the problem is just I just don't care as much as I should. You know, I mean, I know it's going to lead to bad things. I know it's not a good thing to do. I just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
So
A lot of us are like that when we're addicted. You know, we just don't give a shit.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead, Bill.
Well, I mean, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Unless you want more details about things, we can. Oh yeah, let me tell you about the last. And I haven't been looking at the chat because I don't want to distract myself. But I'm sorry.
Yeah. Sorry.
One thing is like before my family split up, I said, hey, let's all, because we used to take trips all the time together. I'm like, hey, we haven't gone anywhere for a while. Let's go. I think we went to Spring Mill State Park down in southern Indiana. It's a beautiful place. They have caves there, and it's just a beautiful place. You know, we went and got a big hotel room, which was really more like a small apartment, but got a nice balcony view and all this kind of stuff. And like it used to be, I was taking the kids out on trails and shit. We used to go to a place called Turkey Run pretty regularly. And some of those trails, I can do them, but I'm just not as fast. So I feel like shit for it. So I just don't go.
Yeah.
So anyway, and like I knew that was going to be like our last family trip together. I didn't say that, but I knew it. And I wanted to be staying in the hotel the whole time while they went out, and I would just stay in the hotel and be like, yeah, my back hurts, which it really did. But I was just sitting there. I mean, at that point, I realized that I could be out on trails with my family, and I'm fucking sitting here by myself taking pills. You know that. I mean, I already knew I had a problem. I just thought I had it under control. But it was like at that minute, I was like, I'm done. And the reason I thought it was going to be our last family trip is because like I thought I was going to be dead like within a month. I really did. And there's other reasons for that too. I don't want to get into, but yeah.
Bill, you've been through a lot.
Huh?
You've been through a lot. You really have. Like, I'm sorry that you went through that. I'm sorry that you lost some friends along the way. You know.
Well, I mean, bad shit happens to everybody. You know, it's just a matter of how you deal with it. And
exactly.
I've dealt with things and admittedly completely the wrong way. I know that. And it's not that I don't care. I mean, I hate that I've hurt people. That does bother me.
Yeah.
But when it comes to me myself, I just don't give a fuck. You know. You know, I'm supposed to follow a special diet for this, that, and the other. Like, yeah, fuck you. I'm gonna eat what I want. You know, and I have I have a medical issue where I'm not really supposed to drink, and it's not because of the drugs and alcohol. It's like a genetic thing. But fucking, I don't care. I drink anyway.
Yeah, it's like when the nurse told me I should quit drinking, and I still drank. You know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're an alcoholic though, right?
I'll be 3 years sober this December.
That's awesome.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
But what I'm saying is you were addicted to alcohol, which adds a whole other layer to things.
Yeah.
I'm not addicted to alcohol. But I do abuse it. You know, so if I don't drink, it doesn't really bother me.
Yeah.
You know. But the thing is like it doesn't matter what I start on. Like I don't like to get all fucked up around other people anymore. Well, I'll give Tikoi some credit here. When she lived with me, I didn't hardly drink very much because I don't like being fucked up around people, and two, having somebody in the house fucking helped me a whole lot. So I didn't feel the need to get all fucked up all the time. I was still taking pills, but I wasn't taking near as many as like before and after she moved in.
Yeah.
Or I mean, before she moved in and after she left. I just didn't feel like I had to get fucked up all the time. Plus, I don't like to be that way around people. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not saying that I never got fucked up with her, but it wasn't really a whole lot.
Yeah, like people in general, or just all people, or like certain people? I mean,
And anybody. Like I really used to enjoy going to bars and the camaraderie, and partying and getting all drunk that way. But I just don't feel that way anymore. I just and part of the thing is now is like it doesn't matter what I start on. Like if I say I'm just gonna have I'm just gonna get drunk, or I'm just gonna take a bunch of pills, or I'm just gonna get some coke. It doesn't matter what I start on. I'll start doing it, and I'll think, okay, I'm fucked up, but I'm not fucked up enough, so I do more. And then I'm like, okay, I'm good and fucked up, but I'm not the right kind of fucked up. So I start in on something, and then eventually, like it turns into, I wind up doing all three. Well, not coke most of the time, but like I'll start taking excess pills and drinking way more than I should. So it doesn't matter what I start out to get fucked up on. I just decide I'm not fucked up enough, and then I decide it's not the right kind of fucked up, so I wind up doing more shit.
Yeah. Brian has a good question. He's like, can you take a drink and then stop though? There are several different types of alcoholics. I can't stop if I start.
Yeah, I can. Most of the time, if I plan on drinking, I'm either like I usually won't I won't sit down by myself and just have a couple of drinks and stop. I'm either all the way on or not drinking at all, right? But the thing is like like when Roxy came over, we have a couple of wineries around here. We would go to the winery and get a couple bottles of wine, and like I could just drink a couple of glasses and just not want anymore. So like I mean, yeah, I can do it. It's just when I'm by myself, I'm not going to.
Yeah. Like with me, I was addicted to it, but when I would drink, I would also abuse it too. So I was kind of like doing both. But yeah, I'm a bit surprised like you weren't like more addicted to the booze.
Yeah, well, like I said, the alcoholic gene runs in my family. My mom's dad was an alcoholic. My mom has never had a drop of alcohol.
Yeah.
But like my grandpa was an alcoholic. All of my uncles on that side were, except for one, they were all alcoholics. And my cousins are alcoholics. I mean, that gene missed me because like when I was younger, I could go out and just drink on the weekends or whatever and not want it again.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say not want it, not need it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then when I was like 19 or 20, I drank pretty much every day for 2 years straight. And I decided that was stupid. And the people I was hanging around with I was just gonna wind up getting in trouble. And like I just wanted to do other things. And once you're drinking, like you can't just jump in the car and drive somewhere. You know what I mean? I mean you can, but yeah, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that I never drove fucked up because, well, I think I told the Ambien story before, but
yeah,
like when I take Ambien,
some people don't know.
Huh?
You could tell again if some people don't know.
Okay. Like they give me Ambien for sleep. Sometimes it doesn't do anything at all. Like it ain't gonna matter how many I take. It's just not gonna do anything. But other times I can take one and get 2 or 3, sometimes 4 or 5. If I can get 5 solid hours, I am good. Like I'm good for a couple of days if I can get 5 solid hours. And so anyway, there was this one time, like I hate Walmart. I hate shopping. I just fucking hate it. And so I will avoid it at all costs. So thankfully, like my mom will go to Walmart for me, whatever. She called me up one night and she said, "Hey, do you need anything from Walmart tomorrow?" I was like, I don't, I can't. When somebody puts me on the spot like that to try to think of what I need, I don't know. So I got to think about it later and write it down, whatever. So I did that. I either called her or texted her my list of what I need, and took an Ambien later on. went to bed, got up the next day, like 7 or 8 o'clock. I don't remember, but went in the kitchen and like there were 2 Walmart bags sitting there with all the stuff in there that I needed. And I'm like, damn, they went that early. That's crazy. So I called her. I'm like, hey, what up? And she's like, no, I didn't go to Walmart. I'm still in bed. I'm like, what the fuck? Well, the only other thing that could have happened is I took that Ambien, drove to, I mean, I could have walked, I don't know, went to Walmart, got all my stuff, and came back. Don't remember a fucking thing about it. And like I hadn't been drinking or anything. It was just the Ambien. And then Halcyon, like I don't, Halcyon's some wild shit. It's another benzodiazepine, but it's like stronger than Xanax or whatever. But they told me that was like the big gun to help people sleep because I was already on, I think, Klonopin at the time. I'm pretty sure I was already on Klonopin, and I don't remember what drugs they were giving me. It was either OxyContin or fentanyl patches or so. I don't know. But anyway, the combination wasn't good. I took, oh, dude, I don't even know how many times I've OD'd. Yeah. So anyway, I took the Halcyon, and what had happened, my Halcyon was disappearing pretty quick, but like I didn't remember taking it, and I knew that my old lady wouldn't steal them from me, and they're locked up, so my kids wouldn't have been able to get to them. And at that age, it would have killed them anyway,
Yeah.
I'm like, where the fuck's all my Halcyon going? And she said, well, you get up in the middle of the night. She's like, I've been following you around because like you get up and like you move shit and say shit and then disappear. So she started following me around, and what I was doing is I would take the Halcyon, get up and go take more and not remember that I did it. And then there was one time, which that should have clued me in right there. I should have stopped right then. But there was one time, like I woke up on the couch and my hand was all cut to shit and, bandaged up and stuff. I'm like, and I had no clue what happened. I'm like, what the fuck? So I went upstairs to her, to our bedroom and woke her up. I'm like, hey, what happened? She's like, you don't remember? I'm like, no. She said, and like, I'm really good with sharpening knives, and she said I was sitting at the kitchen table sharpening a knife, and every time I stroked down, like I was cutting the shit out of my hand and not even feeling it. And so like she got me away from it and bandaged me up and whatever. And then right after that, I woke up in the middle of the night. Like sometimes I'll wake up screaming. I have no idea why. I don't remember what I was dreaming about. But I woke up one night and I had a comforter like in a chokehold, just squeezing the fuck out of it, right? And no idea why. And so I started. This is another part of my problem with why we split up. So I started sleeping downstairs because I was afraid. Like, what if I wake up and I have her in a headlock or some shit,
Yeah.
So I started sleeping downstairs. Plus, those stairs were like the way my back and stuff is. Those stairs are a nightmare for me to go up and down because they're really steep. You may as well be climbing a ladder.
Yeah.
So anyway, I started sleeping away from her because I was afraid that I would wake up fucking choking her or something. And like she didn't believe that. She thought that I had a problem with her, but I didn't. I just didn't want to kill her,
Yeah.
And so that was another part of our problem. But yeah.
Before I ask a question there, Cheryl, she said oxycodone isn't helping me.
What's that?
The comment right there I just highlighted from she just said oxycodone isn't helping me.
Oh yeah, sometimes that's the thing. A lot of the times my painkillers don't do anything for the pain at all. So I get it. Like nothing ever works like it's supposed to, or like they say it will. Yeah, I have that experience too. Like you're supposed to take one and it doesn't do anything, so you take another one, and sometimes it still don't do anything. So you just got to decide how much risk you want to take, because along with trying to cure your pain, you're also feeding an addiction, even if you don't know you're addicted. I mean, I guess that some doctors disagree on this, but like there's a difference between dependence and addiction. and dependence can turn into addiction pretty quickly. You know, to me. Oh yeah, I forgot all about the rehab shit. Like I said, I never got in trouble because of drugs. So I was never forced into rehab or drug court or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I checked myself in more than once, and when you check yourself in, then that means you can check yourself out.
Yeah.
So I would go in there and then like check you're supposed to give them 24 hours notice. I think it's to make you think about it or for them to try to talk you into not leaving. But so one of the times in my okay, since I wasn't really in there because of the drugs. I was in there because of something else that I don't want to say, but it's a place that treats mental health and drug addiction, right? And so because I had prescriptions on my medical chart, and they can do all that shit electronically. Like they were still giving me stuff, but just not the amount that I wanted. So you know, they're just giving you what your prescription says. So what I did was like I told them early in the morning that I want out right now, and they're like, okay, you got to sign these papers, and then wait 24 hours. But the thing is that they kept stalling me. They stalled me for like 7 hours before I could even sign the paperwork, and that's when your 24 hours starts. So what I started doing was throughout the day, and I don't remember how much it was now, but throughout the day, like they didn't watch you real close with your pills. They just hand them to you in a little cup, and you pretend like you take them and whatever, and they don't really check, you know. So what I did was I saved all mine up all of one day, and then like the first dose for the next day, I saved them all up. And like they kept stalling me and trying to say, oh, you know, whatever. But so I just took them all at once, and I'm gonna go outside and play basketball. They had like 3 times a day where you could go out and play basketball. I don't really play basketball, but so what I did was I had, you know, most for somebody to throw me the ball, and I missed it intentionally and let it roll towards the fence. They had a really low fence there, so I just acted like I was going for the ball and hopped the fence, right? Now, in my fucking withdrawing drug addict mind, I'm thinking that they're going to come after me. But the thing is like I was there voluntarily, so nobody was really looking, right? And that hospital was like 40 miles away from home, and there was I don't understand why they didn't have a bigger fence or why they didn't cut the woods down, but there was a big ass woods right behind it, and like I can disappear into a woods like nobody. So I'm doing all this Rambo shit, right? All this evasive shit. And I made my way home. I didn't do it all completely through the woods. That wouldn't have been possible. But I went up hitching rides and getting on the interstate, all this crazy bullshit, you know, like I'm hiding, but like nobody was really looking for me, you know, because I was there voluntarily.
Yeah.
And then there were other times where there was another time something happened, and like the cops could have charged me with it, but they didn't. They said we can either give you a ride to Riverbend, or we can take you to jail. Where do you want to go? And I literally told him, I'm like, well, Riverbend's easier to escape from than jail, so take me there. And like I wasn't really joking, but he thought I was. So like it was all voluntary. Well, it was kind of voluntary. Had I not done it, they would have put me in jail. So I'm like, yeah, just take me down there. So they take me down there, and I had to stay, I don't remember what, 72 hours or whatever it was. Well, like there was no getting around that. I still could have escaped, but I'm like, nah, I don't really want charges, right? So I stuck it out. And like I said, they were really nice. Like all the people that worked there were really cool. They had actual chefs that cooked for us, great food. Even though I really couldn't eat much at the time, it was still good. Problem was they didn't let you smoke, and that was an issue.
that was a big no-no.
Yeah, that's usually like I've been hospitalized a shitload of times, not just for this kind of stuff, but like 9 times out of 10, I check myself out against the medical advice. If I feel like don't want to be there, I just go. And usually it's because they don't want you to smoke.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm like, hey, you guys let me have a cigarette. I'll fucking kick it here for another day. I don't care. They're like, no, I'm like, oh, whatever. But so that's usually why I leave that early, is because I want a fucking cigarette.
Yeah. But, you know, that's their one rule, and, you know, you're like saying, screw it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But, how did it, like, being addicted, it affects your sleeping too. I noticed that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'll be honest, during my drinking days, I would drink to sleep, to help me sleep.
Yeah.
You know, I would drink until I would pass out, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But I never went on, like, any of those pills like you did for sleeping or anything like that. You know.
Well, I mean, the thing is I suggest, I mean, I never take my own advice because, well, I mean, because fuck you, that's why.
Yeah.
But I tell people don't even fucking start on that shit. Even though I do it myself regularly.
Yeah.
But the thing is after you go so long without sleep, you start getting crazy and you start wanting to do crazy things or doing crazy things.
That's true.
So it's like, which is worse, you know, risking getting addicted to something, or, you know, risking doing, like, I'll have conversations with people late at night when I'm on Ambien, and like every time I wake up, I have to look at my phone and check my text messages and look at Instagram and Discord to see who I need to apologize to, because I don't fucking remember shit.
Yeah.
Or, you know, like I'll see like I had a 2-hour conversation with somebody, don't fucking remember it. You know.
Yeah, I used to be like that during my drinking days too. Like, I'll wake up the next day, I'm like, oh shit, what did I do the night before? Like, did I offend someone? You know. I always would have beer, you know. But yeah, being addicted, it's really it could bring you into dark places. It really can.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Once you realize that you have lost control over your own life, man, that hit me pretty hard. So that sends you into a dark place, and then so you know you need to stop doing that. So you try to stop doing that, and your mind just from that goes into extremely dark places. So you got all that shit piled up.
Yeah, it's true.
And yeah, as far as the sleeping thing goes, like I've never been hooked on speed or anything like that, but I know with opioids, that will help you get to sleep sometimes if you take enough. Then when you don't have them anymore, like you're not going to sleep at all, because your body's used to being slowed down, and all of your, you know, all your mechanical reflexes are taken over by the opioids. So they're doing certain jobs or shutting certain parts of your brain down, to where you just don't use them anymore. Like you can't produce your own dopamine anymore because it's all taken over, you know, by the poppy plant.
Yeah.
So once nothing is filling that void, your mind just goes to fucking weird ass places until it heals. Like I don't think my brain, like the whole 2 years I was clean, I don't think my brain ever healed, to be honest with you. I think maybe I'm just so far damaged that it really can't.
I get what you're saying. I do. Like, how should I say this exactly? Like I'm an overthinker, you know. Like I overthink things, you know, and that could get me into trouble, you know.
Oh yeah.
And I attribute that to my drinking days too. Like I would always be like, but sometimes I would get paranoid too from the booze. You know?
Did you say paranoid?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah. I mean things like speed or coke, whatever, that shit will make people paranoid really quick. But yeah, anything can, because you start occupying parts of your brain with outside substances, and your brain gets really comfortable with that. And then you don't have it anymore. Then your brain has to try to do that job itself, and it can't.
Yeah.
You know, at least not for a while, and shit just fucking goes. What? Yeah, I know.
And you're sleeping. It's still screwed up today, though, right?
Yeah, but the thing is my sleeping was. I never have been able to sleep well.
Same here.
On my own, like even before all of the, you know, like the pain management stuff. Even before that, they were giving me stuff to help me sleep. Like I've tried all kinds of shit. Lunesta, all that did was make my mouth taste like metal all the time. Didn't help me sleep. Trazodone, I took. I think it was. Don't quote me on this next part, but I think it was 300 milligrams. They're these little weird shaped, jagged little pills. Well, they're not little; they're big and they're hard to swallow because of the way they're shaped. But I think I was taking 2 of those for sleep, but that shit didn't help me sleep either. All it did was give me extremely bad cotton mouth. What else was there? I can't remember all of it. Like I've tried them all, and like none of it works. You know, and then I've been on like long term, like I've run the gamut on about every antidepressant that I've ever heard of. And I do stay on them for extended periods to give them a chance to work, but like none of it ever does.
Did anyone recommend to you to go for like sleeping tests too, or no?
Yeah. The thing is like I can't sleep in the comfort of my own home. How the fuck am I going to sleep? But when I know somebody's watching me, you know what I mean? So I never actually did it. But like I've had so many MRIs and CAT scans and all kinds of shit on my brain because I've had like a shit ton of concussions.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't remember most of what they said, but
yeah, the reason why I asked that too is I was supposed to go for that many years ago, and I said no because I know it wasn't going to help.
Well, the thing is like some people have like sleep apnea. Like I don't have that. With sleep apnea, like you'll sleep, but you're always exhausted because you're waking up all the time and you don't know you're waking up.
Yeah.
But like I just can't get to sleep. And then once I do get to sleep, I still wake up all the time, you know, but yeah.
Like I could sit up like for 2 days straight, and I'll call my parents up and they said, "Did you get any sleep?" And I would always change the subject, and they were like, "You didn't sleep, did you?" And I always tell them, I'd be like, "Yeah, I'll sleep when I'm dead," you know.
Yeah, I say the same thing.
Like I don't get that many hours a week of sleep. I really don't.
Well, that's the thing. Like a lot of times people just don't understand it that haven't been through it. They're like, "We'll just go to sleep." Like, how the fuck do you just go to sleep? Explain that to me.
You can't. You really can't.
No. Yeah, dude, I'm the same way. I'll stay awake for days. I mean, and I'm not talking about using any drugs to do it, but I will not sleep for 2 or 3 or 4 days at a time.
Yeah,
And
I'm like that too.
You just start getting fucking crazy after a while, you know.
Yeah, you get that weird look in your eyes. Yeah, I'm like that too, you know. Like I think I'm running on adrenaline.
Yeah, yeah. The after a while, the adrenal glands kick in, and you just literally run on adrenaline. Because I can't remember. I used to know all that shit, like how long it takes, but I remember like if you don't sleep for what is it, 10 days or 14 days, something like that. There's a certain amount of days that if you don't sleep, you will die.
I never heard that.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, well, when you're asleep, your body regenerates, like your brain regenerates a lot of chemicals.
Yeah.
That only happens when you're asleep. So if you're not sleeping, your body's not regenerating certain things. And when you go so long without those things, bad shit happens.
Oh man, I didn't really realize that. The only time I can really sleep well is if it's like the like the thunderstorms and lightning outside.
Yeah.
That's the only time I can sleep well because I find that very peaceful.
Yeah, I do too.
It's the only time I can sleep is because I find that very peaceful. You know. But
Well,
yeah,
I think I got a lightning storm video up. I can't remember YouTube or Instagram. One, I don't know. If I can go put that on repeat.
yeah, I saw that. I'm going to have to use that because we barely got any like thunderstorms during the summer. We barely got that this year.
Really?
Yeah. It was mostly dry this summer.
We didn't really get a whole lot of rains. We haven't for the last few years, really. Not getting as much as we used to.
Yeah, we got more last year than we did this year. Sarah said, she's like, my mind goes nonstop, and yes, it's very hard to sleep sometimes. Your body will eventually give up and shut down eventually.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, see, Brian lives across the river from me, so yeah, he basically gets the same kind of weather that I do.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
Bryden's what in Detroit, right? I'm not.
yeah,
I'm like in the same kind of, not really the same area, but like in the same geographical area as him.
yeah, and I'm across the river from him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they just opened up the bridge now, a couple of weeks ago, or about a week ago, I mean. So people can travel now without stupid restrictions.
That's got to be weird. Like if you live by there, and then all of a sudden, like I'm sure it's busy, and then all of a sudden there's no traffic, and then it all comes back. That's got to be weird. Like if you live around there.
Yeah, I live in the downtown area, so it is weird seeing that.
Yeah.
Like it has been like that, oof, almost 2 years. Almost 2 years. But yeah, it's getting back to addiction. It puts us in dark places. It really does. I remember I was in that area too a few times, and it's scary shit. It feels like you have your back against the wall.
Oh yeah, you're always in a corner.
Yeah.
And I mean, addicts, like especially like if you're trying to hide it from people, which a lot of people told me that they couldn't tell I had a problem, or some people could tell something was up because I wasn't really myself, but they didn't suspect it was that because like I was always pretty or fairly anti-drug. I was brought up with a Nancy Reagan anti-drug policy.
Oh, the
Um,
1980s.
but yeah, the way I was brought up, only bad people did drugs, like even pot. Like I had it drilled into my head that if somebody smoked pot, don't ever talk to them. Uh,
Yeah.
they're scum, shit like that.
Hmm.
So I mean, that's how what I had drilled into my head. So like I avoided, like in high school when people were getting into that shit, like I just didn't. Like one, I knew if my dad found out and he got a hold of me, I'd be done.
Hmm.
That was big part of it. And like at that time, it just didn't really appeal to me.
Yes, same here. Like with the booze, I didn't start drinking until I was like 14. So
Well, that's still pretty young.
yeah, it is. A friend of mine, he's like, how old were you when you started? I told him, and then he's like, when did you quit? And I told him, and he's like, realize that's 25 years. And
Mm,
I can't believe it. I really didn't think about that.
right.
Just
I
a long
mean,
time.
it fucks with your brain, it fucks with your liver, it fucks with everything, man.
Yeah, it was screwing up my liver because a few years ago my skin was turning yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then the last day I quit, or last day I was drinking, next day I woke up, it felt like my body was shutting down.
Yeah, you get jaundice with liver problems. Not good.
Yeah.
That's like I have a liver issue too, but it's not from drinking or drugs.
Hmm.
Um, it's something else. But so I'm really not supposed to drink at all. But like I just don't
Yeah.
give a fuck. And there are times like when I go off on benders sometimes, like if I go on like a week-long run or whatever, I'll start turning yellow too.
Hmm. I just hope that I was able to repair my liver in time, you know.
Well, the liver does repair itself with certain things. So
Yeah, because both my parents aren't well, and my mom said to me, she's like, "You did one good thing." She's like, "You quit when you were young, still."
mm-hmm.
You know, and I never thought it that way. You know, she's kind of right. Tatiana says, for the ones needing rain and storm sounds to be able to sleep, there are multiple YouTube channels that are the sounds of storms that are great to listen to.
Oh, I haven't been watching the chat. I didn't know Tatiana was here. Tatiana's a good one.
Yes, she is.
She does, like, she sent me I think the picture should still be up and I should still have a video up about it, but she sent me a really awesome painting of a flaming guitar.
Yeah, nice. Claire says, TC, there's so many different apps, YouTube videos, etc., where you can find thunderstorm sounds. That's what helps you sleep. Please go find ones and crank up the volume. I will, Sarah. Thank you for that. Thank you both for that. I appreciate it. I was close, Janice. I really was. But Bill, what point in your life did you realize that, like, you hit rock bottom, though?
Well, after my family left,
Yeah.
you know, that was, and even that, like, I knew it was going to happen. I'll get more into that. Like when my girl told me, she's like, I can't sit here and watch you kill yourself anymore. I can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love you too much. I care too much about you. I can't sit here and watch you kill yourself.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's like she knew that I was taking a shitload, but she didn't really know how much because I tried to hide it from her.
Yeah.
See, back when it first started getting out of control, that's when they were giving me, my prescription was for 360 milligram oxys a day plus, oh gosh, I can't remember how many Norcos, 2 or 3 Norcos for breakthrough pain.
Mm-hmm.
And plus the benzo, which, see, I never got hooked on the benzodiazepines, like all the Xanax and Klonopin I was taking, like when I couldn't get them anymore. It wasn't really, I mean, the rebound anxiety was horrible and the not being able to sleep was horrible, but like I didn't Jones for it. I just wanted relief from the anxiety and the insomnia.
Yeah.
That's the thing about benzodiazepine and alcohol withdrawal are the only two that can actually kill you if you don't, if you just quit all of a sudden. Like opioid withdrawal won't kill you; it'll just make you want to die. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's something else that kills me. Like in the instructions, if you ever read the full, I'm a nerd. I research shit. Like if you ever read the full instructions for like the opioids, you know, when the long form you get with your prescriptions, it says, do not stop taking this medication suddenly because it may cause unpleasant symptoms. I'm like, unpleasant my ass. It'll make you want to put a fucking gun in your mouth, you know?
Yeah.
And then like I had fentanyl patches for a while. And I can't remember. I think there were 75 milligram. I think. I'm not positive, but so anyway, they're supposed to last 3 days, but like nothing ever works like it's supposed to. So I was like wearing 2 of them at a time, you know. But and then eventually I started like finding out how to extract just like the pure fentanyl out of it and doing it all at once. But don't ever do that, people. I'm not even going to tell you how. But so anyway, I read the instructions just out of boredom or curiosity, or whatever. But just the warning labels with that, it's 2 sheets that fold out like a fucking road map, like the old road maps. You know, the real big fuckers that you had to fold, you know, 20 times.
Yeah.
There were 2 sheets like that, and that was just the warning labels. You know, and it's telling you somebody that doesn't have a tolerance, if they even touch this shit, it can kill them.
Yeah.
So like I would put them on and then I would tape them down. Just, I mean, they stuck pretty good on their own, but I would take medical tape and just wrap it around and make sure it didn't go anywhere. But I was worried, like what if it comes off of me in my sleep and lands on my old lady, you know?
Yeah.
Like what if I don't dispose of one properly and my kids get a hold of it? Because even the used up ones still have enough in there to kill a person. I'm just not used to it.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had this joke. I'm like, okay, and I was still working at this time. And we had this joke. Oh, that was another thing, is like when you sweat a lot, that was something else I would do. I mean, I sweated a lot at work because sometimes in the summertime, that factory would get up to 120 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even with all the big doors open, because you know, we burn steel there and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it gets really hot. So, and it tells you on there, don't sweat. Like, how the fuck are you gonna not sweat? You know. So, but I was sweating like crazy, and then like I would get these rushes of where I just like start not. And I operated heavy equipment, and the company knew this. They knew I was taking this shit, and they were still letting me operate heavy equipment. So like I would be on this 52,000-pound capacity big fucking forklift where we move, you know, 52,000 pounds of steel with them at a time, sometimes more.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm operating that motherfucker, you know, and I would like start nodding off and shit behind the wheel. And yeah, not good. So I didn't stay on them long because of that kind of stuff. But we had this joke. I was like, man, this stuff's in my bloodstream. Like, what if when my old lady swallows, what if she gets addicted to my semen? That would be awesome. You know. So yeah, it was a running gag for a long time.
Penny says, Bill, have you been able now to no, so reread that. Bill, you have been able to rebuild back your relationships with your ex-wife and others. If yes, isn't that enough to help you to not fall back into the trenches you come out of again?
My ex and we've never been on bad terms. We've always stayed friends. Like I still, like, when was it, 2 years ago? I don't know. She had a guy that she was dating. Here's a fucked up story. Like we're still very good, you know. And for a while, when she'd broken up with this dude, like she was kind of hitting around about maybe wanting to get back together. I don't know if I ever would because I'm not really clean, you know what I mean? But I'm not doing the crazy fucked up shit that I used to do. So I don't want to like drag her back into anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, like when she was dating this dude, she's like, I want you to meet him because she knows that if I can look somebody in the eye for 2 seconds, I can tell you everything you need to know about that person, right?
Yeah.
He's like, I want you to meet him. So I meet the guy. I look him in the eye. I'm like, nope, not this one. And I'm trying to be unbiased.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I still care about her. I still love her, and I wish that we never split up. Mm-hmm. But I don't really know if I would go back with her. You know what I mean? And it's not anything negative about her. It's just that I don't feel like I am not even close to the same guy that she fell in love with. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And we have a son together too. So, but anyway, she has me meet this guy, and I meet him. I'm like, nah, this guy's a fucking asshole. I could tell already. And then, like, she asked my opinion. She wanted to know, and then so I started researching the guy and tracked some people down that know him, and they were all telling me fucking negative shit. And other people that knew him were telling her negative shit. And then she got mad at me for saying bad shit about him.
Oh,
but, you know. So anyway, they dated for a couple of years or whatever, and like everything I told her that was going to happen happened. He's in jail now, partially because of the shit that he was trying to do to her. But I don't really want to say what happened, but let's just say I got him away from her, or I helped get him away from her.
That's good.
But so yeah, there's that. But then she was kind of hinting around at one point about getting back together, but I had somebody else living with me at the time, and we were not together. Like she had her own bedroom, and like we were not a couple.
Yeah.
But try explaining that to people, though. You know, it's like the more you deny it, the less they believe you. You know what I mean? So I think that she thought there was more going on than what there was, but I couldn't convince her of that. You know what I mean? So whatever. It is what it is.
But man, Bill, you've been through a lot, you know?
Well, I mean, people wonder why I'm so fucked up. There you go. And I'm leaving a lot out on purpose, you know?
Yeah. Well, truth be told, a lot of us are screwed up, you know, in different ways, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm far from perfect, you know?
Oh, dude, nobody is close to perfect.
Yeah. Like, I made my fair share of mistakes, and I'm still learning, you know?
Yeah. Dude, if you stop learning, then you're fucking stupid. If you're not always willing to learn, you're stupid.
Exactly.
If you're not willing to, I mean, I'm pretty set in my ways, but there are certain things that, I'll see what's a good example. Okay, there are things right now that within this community, they're like bubbling up under the surface, and it's going to come out probably pretty soon.
The thing
But
that you texted me?
that's one of them.
Yeah, I got.
I was very vague intentionally. I didn't tell you any details, but I'm not telling anybody any details yet. So it's certainly nothing personal. I'm just not putting the details out there yet until I have like the whole story, you know.
Okay.
And I mean, there's more than that, but
yeah, I could text you about that after, can I?
I can't tell you any details right now. If you think you know something, you can text that to me and I'll tell you if you're right or not.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
So anyway, there are certain people that I used to have opinions on, you know, and I'd be willing to back them up. But then, like, you get new information, and if you can confirm that information, then your opinion of that person is going to change.
Yeah.
Now, if you are a close friend of mine, I will back you up through about anything. But if you fuck up, I'm gonna I won't do it publicly, but I will let you know personally that, you know, you fucked up. You know what I mean? So you got to be willing to change with the best information that you have at the time.
Yeah.
And that goes with anything, you know.
Like, we all do make mistakes in life. You know, it happens. Okay. I'm going to be honest. If I knew anyone I associate with had fentanyl patches, I'd try to see if I could pay for their patches that they had off. Huh. Yeah, so I'll text you after to think if I know what it is.
Okay. If you're right, then I'll say, you know, I'll either say yes or no.
Yeah, like I did earlier. Remember? Yeah. But yeah, thank you for coming up here, Bill. I really appreciate it.
Sure.
And when's your next live?
Oh, I have no idea. I don't usually know I'm doing them until I'm doing them. I got some things planned. I just don't have the dates yet.
Yeah, I guess I'm sticking with Fridays.
Oh, are you? Okay.
Yeah, because I don't like going on the weekends because that's when a lot of stuff happens. Like, a lot of people go live on the weekends, and there's no way I could compete. There's no way.
Yeah, that's the kind of, like, I try not to go live if anybody else is, especially like our fringe group here, like, you know, you and Bad Guy and Locksmith and Ed. I unless I have something already planned, like, I won't go live at the same time as somebody else. If it's something like reasonably important, then I'm like, fuck it. If it's one that I've already posted that I'm gonna do, you know, fuck it. Because like, we all have the same people watching. Why make people choose? Why put them? You know what I mean? It just, yeah.
Yeah. I'm like that.
I'm not in competition with anybody. I mean, I don't give a fuck about growing a channel. I would like to have 500 so I can use the community tab, but other than that, I don't care. There is no way I'm ever going to be able to monetize. I would have to change who I am, and I'm not willing to do that. I'm not capable of doing that.
Yeah, Ed never got monetized, so. Tatiana says, everyone alive there, okay, everyone alive there is a good chance something has happened to them in their lives. Things that have to be overcome to make ourselves better mentally and or physically. It's how we fight that counts. She's right, you know.
No, yeah, she's right, but easier said than done, you know.
Like you said you had depression and anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did too. I did too during my drinking days. You know, and that's the only way I knew how to, cope with it. You know, wasn't really supposed to mix booze with depression. It's not really a good mixture.
No, it makes you feel better temporarily, but well, unless you're a person like some people just shouldn't drink. Like if you turn into a violent asshole when you drink, don't fucking drink.
Yeah,
You know,
you're right.
if you're the kind of drunk that gets drunk and wants to cry all the time, just don't do it. You're not doing yourself any favors. You're just going to make people not want to associate with you.
You see, I was more of like I would drink with my friends, but at the same time, I was like a quiet drunk.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Well, I
so
mean, with me, it kind of depended on my mood at the time. Like, I could go out to the bar with the boys and be rowdy as fuck and have a great time.
yeah,
But like, if I just strolled into a bar by myself where I don't really know anybody, like I'll just sit in the corner, you know, and pick out like I'll know early on, okay, that guy's going to get into a fight later. That guy's going to get caught cheating. That guy, you know, is going to do it. I will call all this shit like way before it happens, and I'm 90% of the time I'm right. You know, if you just watch people and learn mannerisms and body language, and you know, if you're close enough to a micro expressions, but it's yeah, yeah, I'll just sit there. I'll be that fucking creepy guy sitting by himself in the back of the bar with a hat, you know, hat pulled down so nobody can see his face. You know, no, not really, but you know what I mean. I'll just if I'm by myself, I'll just kind of sit there and people watch and make bets
like
with myself. You know.
yeah, like a lone wolf kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah says, pure quite a few. Um, don't really like to put my business life in public, very much due to the sadness. Unfortunately, it's sad. I'm on IG if you want. Oh, she's talking to pure. My bad. Um, Tatiana's like willingness to accept help when we are at our lowest, and no, we don't have any fight left, but we have to be able to ask for them, accept that help. No, she's right. You know.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like when I know I'm getting to a dark place, like once I get there, I'm not talking to anybody. I'm not answering my phone. Yeah, I'm not. Once I get to that dark of a place, I'm not talking to anybody.
Yeah, you
The
shut everyone off.
the key is like trying to find somebody to talk to, like before that point gets there.
Mm-hmm.
But like after, I mean, my experiences with a couple of people in this community were very public, and like I did open up to them. I did cry on their shoulders, but now they're using it against me. So there's no fucking way I'm ever opening up to anybody again. Fuck that.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Like the fact that they're using that against you, it's not right. It'd be like if someone used that against me, like when I was at the bottom. You know, it's just something you really don't do.
Yeah, I mean they're making it sound like it was an everyday thing, and it really wasn't. It did happen. I was
Yeah.
going through a very dark. I was in a very dark place at the time. I really was.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as them saying they were there for me every day, that's not true because, um, like we were on a big group text together, and like I didn't want to target people. I felt like I didn't want to like target one person and try to put my burden like straight up to one person. So I would just go in that group text. And it was usually late at night, so yeah, some people were sleeping. That's
Yeah.
not an issue, but like I would just put in that group text, hey, I need somebody to talk to. Most of the time, fucking like nobody would, except for what. And the few times that they did, most of the time it was Ed. It wasn't any of them,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So I don't know what the fuck they're trying to pull there, but yeah, fuck that. I'm not opening up to anybody here ever again.
You're welcome, Cap. should thank Bill for coming up on panel and all and telling his story. And it was a really good story too. We all appreciate it. Like a lot of us could relate in certain aspects, like when it comes to addiction.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is this community? There's a lot of really good people here too. I mean, I've gotten to be close with. I mean, as close as you can get by fucking texting and being on live streams. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There are some really good ones.
There are.
But like this community is. I don't even like calling it a community, but this place is so fucked up, man.
Well, the community part is screwed up. That's why, and Penny's right. It should be called a village.
Village, yeah, I like that. I've been actually using that, but yeah, I like that better.
Yeah, I think I told. I think I might have told Tech about that too. Yeah, and she's right. Like there's the good ones are in the village, and then the not so good ones are in the community.
Well, yeah, I'll go along with that.
Like two different factions. Pierre says, even though it was a drug that someone else used, that but yeah, like with the addiction, when you were in a dark place though, like what did you experience exactly?
What do you mean?
Like how did you feel?
Oh God, I can't even. I mean, I still get that way. I can't really describe it. It's very dark. I mean, it's a complete feeling of complete helplessness, complete worthlessness.
Yeah.
Like I know that people care about me. I know that they do, but knowing that and being able to feel it are two different things. Right? I mean, like I 100% know that people do care about me, but knowing it and being able to feel it at times, and it's not something that it's not a feeling that I want to deflect. It's just that it's just that way.
Like you basically felt like you lost all hope.
Oh yeah, big time. I mean, dude, I can't even tell you how many times I'd be, curled up in the fetal position, holding a gun to my head, and like trying to. People say that suicide is the coward's way out. I don't necessarily agree with that. If you're doing it to try to escape a consequence of something that you did that you should take accountability for, sure. But I'm telling you right now, it takes some fucking guts to point a gun at yourself and pulling that trigger. I mean, I think I know what happens to us when we die, but the bottom line is we can't really know until it happens. I mean, is there a hell? I've done some very bad things. I've done some very bad things I can't ever talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Is that gonna if hell works that way? Is that where I'm going? Because am I jumping from something that's bad into something that's even worse that you can't go back from? Do we get reincarnated? A lot of people believe in that. I don't really know.
Yeah.
I mean, I do have my own beliefs, but I mean, you can't really know until it happens.
Yeah, like, did you ever feel dead on the inside though? Like when you're in that dark place? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I feel like that a lot. Yeah. But the thing is like I used to be, I used to. Oh, this is something that I forgot to mention. A friend of mine helped me figure it up, and like the last 2 years that I was using oxys real bad, I was spending $80,000 a year just on pills.
Oh man.
So I mean, that was just, the last 2 years was when I used the most, and that was just $80,000 was for 1 year. That doesn't count all the other years before. That started in 2004, which I didn't really start buying them off the street until like 2008 or 9, something like that. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
But yeah, the reason why I asked you if you felt dead on the inside is because I'll be honest, I feel that way.
Oh yeah, I do a lot.
Yeah. Like you know who JDQ is?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I started rocking with JDQ like right when he had like 15 subscribers.
Yeah, like I told him like it was back in I want to say May, like beginning of May. I messaged him and I told him like I was going through something, and I told him I feel dead on the inside. I've been like this for a while now. You know.
Yeah,
I felt like I was in that dark place again. You know, I really felt like it.
People give me shit because like just because I'm not chatting doesn't mean I'm not watching a catch.
Yeah.
I really don't chat a whole lot anymore because I don't feel like I feel like if I can't be funny, I just need to shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Someone that you might know, she goes by the name of Wrestler's Mom.
Mm-hmm.
She says, Bill, thank you for telling your story. You are stronger than you think. You have been through a lot.
Thank you for saying that, Wrestler's Mom. She's pretty cool. She's gonna leave her husband for me, and we're gonna take off together.
Oh, nice. Pierce, like TC, does he have the fight or flight experience? If so, I don't know what he means by that.
Is he talking to me? Fight or flight?
No, me. I don't know what he means by that.
Well, fight or flight. Fight or flight is like when you're in a confrontation. It's fight or flight. Are you gonna like say a guy gets in your face? Are you gonna fight him or are you gonna take off? That's an instinct thing.
Like when I was in an influence? No, I never got into stuff like that. No, I never got I was never looking for fights when I was going for nothing. I usually kept to myself. So, okay, cat eyes, sure, okay.
I mean, when I was doing the bounty hunting thing, see that's it though. Is like I used to do all this cool stuff, hunting humans and jumping out of airplanes and all this really cool stuff. Mm-hmm. Then all of a sudden, well, not really all of a sudden, like I still did all this stuff after I didn't jump out of airplanes anymore, but I was still hunting people after I got hurt. But after several years, it just got to be so much that I can't fucking like trying to fight these guys and trying to put a full grown meth head into handcuffs. It's if they're fighting, it's just not like I'm not on that game anymore. I can't do it like I used to. Mm-hmm. So I had to give all that shit up, man. And I couldn't even do my fucking steelworker job anymore. And fucking I don't just feel useless. I have become useless.
Well, you're not useless, Bill. You may feel like that, but you're not.
Well, I mean, by comparison to the shit I used to do is what I mean.
Yeah. But getting back to the dark place, like, are you still in it, or like, are you out now?
I have days. Like at this moment, no. I mean, if I was really, I'll be real honest with you, Terrence. I really was when I canceled the last time. I really was sick. A bad head cold. Mm-hmm. But like there are times where there's no fucking way I'm not going online. I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not doing any panels. I'm just not doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, like at this minute, no. I wasn't really in a dark place. Kind of. Well, I wasn't in that dark of a place earlier today. But I got on Discord and started a conversation, and people started joining in, and I felt a lot better. Just when we were not talking about anything like that, we were just, making jokes about other things, and that shit fucking lifted my spirits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like for 3 months, like earlier in the year, I was out of that dark place, and I was happy and I achieved that, but then went right back into the dark place and it felt worse. But this time I did it sober, so. Mm-hmm. So it's really tricky how we handle it as people,
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And like, I know that I handle shit the wrong way, but, God, I don't want to, you know what? I don't want to reveal much more, but as far as like being in a dark place, I don't want to.
Yeah. Sarah says, sorry, Bill, that happens, it's for her wife. Sorry about your luck, wifey. Oh.
What? Okay.
Sarah.
Well, Sarah, I would run away with Sarah F too, to be honest with you.
Well, who wouldn't? KJCB. So, like, Bill, I really appreciate your story, and I respect your openness. I've been popping pills for years, and it's crazy that I've kept it a secret from so many of my loved ones. Hearing you has helped.
All right, man. Hey, if you ever need to talk about that, I have a lot of experience with popping pills and hiding it from people. I mean, it eventually got to a point where I couldn't hide it anymore, but I get it, man. I fucking get it. If there's one thing I know the inside and out, it's that. So if you ever need to talk about that, man, you can hit me up anytime.
You're a good man for Bill. You're a good man for doing that, Bill.
Well, that's the thing is, I mean, you know, a lot of people do uh, hit me up when they're feeling a certain way because they know I understand it, and like it feels good that people um, trust me enough to tell me things because they know it. I'm not gonna fucking say anything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm always willing to be there for people because I know what that feels like. And so sometimes if I'm kind of feeling that way myself, and like I won't, most of the time I won't let on to them that I am.
Yeah.
But if I feel like if I can help lift them up, then that itself lifts me up, if that makes any sense. You know, if I can help somebody that's also going through it, even if they don't know I'm going through it at the time, if I can help in any way, try to get them out of it, or at least like stall them long enough so that they don't hurt themselves, then that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
The problem is there are people, and I'm finally see here's the thing. There are people that just do it like for an attention thing. But the thing is like I still don't turn them down because I did get contact with a couple of them recently.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking about the ones that are coming at me right now. I'm not talking about them.
Mm-hmm.
But it was here's my situation. Like I feel not responsible that certain other people ended their lives, but like I should have done more. I could have done more, and I didn't. And part of it was because one of them anyway. It was because and I'm not talking about my, you know, my last living friend. I'm talking about somebody altogether different. She, like, I found, like, I knew that she had been dropping hints to somebody else that she was going to do it, and that person got a hold of me. And instead of getting off my ass and going and finding her right then, like I stalled around. I like paced up and down the living room for I don't even know how long.
Yeah.
I don't know, but 20 minutes, an hour, I don't know, because like I knew what I was going to find. But had I moved on it like right then, like I might have been able to get there sooner to help her. You know what I mean? So I've got all this shit in my mind, and then so even like when I know somebody's just doing it for attention, I still respond to it because what if I'm wrong? You know, what if I think, oh, you know, she's just doing that for attention or whatever, and then so I don't do anything, and then she fucking eats a bunch of pills and fucking, you know what I mean? That'll be another one that I feel responsible for. I don't know how many of those.
It'll be on your conscience.
I don't know how many more of those I can take, man. I really don't.
Yeah, like that's just it. It just becomes too much, you know. It really does. Penny says, Bill, I'm so proud of you, and I promise I'm here for you when you or anyone else shares with me. It's not my story to repeat because it is your story to tell when you are ready. I too am proudful.
Right.
So to be honest, like my genetic disorder has taken me from extremely active to charged person to some days not being able to feed myself or walk. it's great to have a few friends you can always call and talk to. And she's right, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Peers, like, I hate the word popping pills. I would say if you would say you are in pain and you want to feel like $1,000,000 every day, not some POS who can't do anything. Oh, hey, Kenzie. Um, yeah, like addiction is just, it destroys a lot of people. It brings us down, but it's up to us to bring ourselves back up. You know. But yeah, I hope that your story does reach out and help someone there, Bill. I know it will.
I hope so too. I mean,
Oh, I know it will.
I make a lot of jokes about my drug use, you know.
Yeah, well, that's a defense mechanism.
Yeah, well, yeah, it is. I make it sound, and it like while you're doing it, all right, for my personal experience, like while I'm doing cocaine, it's fun. I feel a lot better. Like I don't get crazy on it. Like they told me a while back, I don't know how many years ago, but it wasn't that really that long ago, but they're like the counselor I was talking to said, well, I think you have ADD, but I never went and followed through with that, or ADHD, some fucking thing, I don't know, but because like I already have prescriptions for like 4 different narcotics, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know what they give people for ADD, and like I don't want another prescription for narcotics, because in my mind, I mean that's a whole new kind of narcotic that well, I mean I do coke, but and they're similar, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I have access to it regularly, and like my insurance pays 100% of my medications, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or 100% on most of them.
Yeah.
And so if I have like these free drugs sitting around, you know, especially a new kind, yeah, it'll help me out for a while, but I'll start abusing it. I know I will.
Yeah.
And it'll be good for a while. That's the thing about drugs, is the first 6 months, 6 years, however long, depends on the type and depends on the person. It's great. The effects are positive, but after your brain gets used to that and it can't make its own dopamine anymore or whatever, you're fucked, because then you have to do it all the time, and then it gets more and more and more, and then it's just not making you feel better at all. Then you're just feeding an addiction that you can't have, that you don't have any control over. So that's why I never followed through on the ADD thing. Now they do give me clonidine if you're an addict, an opioid addict, and you're trying to quit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a narcotic, but they give me clonidine. Like they don't give it to me for addiction relief.
Yeah.
But like if you're in heavy opioid withdrawals, and like you have the restless legs, which is a motherfucker,
Mm-hmm.
you take a clonidine and that shit stops. That's a huge help. But they also treat clonidine. They use it for ADD, ADHD, migraines, which I get migraines. What else? They anxiety, which is why they give it to me. That's what it's supposed to be for. It doesn't really, I don't know. It helps if I take a shitload, but don't tell anybody. So yeah, if I take enough clonidine, I can get to sleep on it sometimes.
Yeah.
What I've been doing lately is like mixing my clonidine with the Ambien at the same time, and that kind of works, but I know it's not going to work for very long. Eventually it'll stop working and I'll have to do something else. But
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, like I know whatever I get, I'm not going to take it the right way, and I really don't want to get another full-time habit started.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good. Cat Eye says, thank you, Bill, for sharing your story.
Hey, no problem, Cat Eyes. Like if this helps somebody, even if it's just in their own mind and they don't say anything, even if their own minds, if they go, wow, that's exactly how I feel, I'm not alone. That's enough for me. I don't even need to know you feel that way, because I'll just know that somebody feels that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
if you have some kind of issue, if you don't want to talk about it here, but you want to talk about it because you feel the same way I do, you can hit me up in DMs. Like I'm not gonna run out there and like tell your business to people. So.
Jenny T says, Bill, you also might not have gotten there in time. Don't accept guilt over the should have, could have, would have scenarios. It's not your fault. She's right, you know.
No, I know that. Like in my mind knows that, but like I said, sometimes knowing something and feeling it are not the same thing.
Yeah, it's true. Tatiana's like, we are not a mental health professional. You cannot put that guilt on yourself. That is why I always try to get the people that reach out to me to seek a professional on top of having friends to talk to. Well, she's right.
Well, no, she is right, but like none of that shit. Like I have gone to counseling a bunch of times. Like it never, like nothing ever really helps. To me, talking to a counselor, and sometimes because of a medication I used to take, and because of something that happened a long time ago, I've had to go see counselors.
Yeah.
And I've done it voluntarily. You know, just call them up, be like, hey, I need to fucking spill this shit, and I can't talk to anybody I know about it. But like it never really helps me in the long term. Like it's to me, talking to a counselor is like going to get a haircut. You go in, you sit in their fancy chair, they fuck with your head, they get it looking great. You leave 5 minutes later, it's messed up, and you cannot get it to go back the way they had it.
Yeah. Cat Eye says, Bill, I don't want you to take any offense by this because I mean it from my heart, because I go through a lot of the same illnesses that you have, but you need to really stop taking all these unnecessary.
You kind of broke up. Or let me find it and read it myself.
And the one from Cat Eyes?
Yeah, I see it highlighted. I'm reading it now.
Yep. Oh, you reading or?
Really need to stop taking all these unnecessary. Taking unnecessary what?
Did she finish?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Just her other part, the comment.
Oh, she okay. Cat Eyes, I know all that. Yeah, you're not wrong. It's just once I get to a certain place, and really I've said too much already, and I know that all this shit's going to be used against me somehow. But
well, if like, they use it against you, so be it. You know.
Yeah, I mean, fuck it. I know that I knew coming up here how it's going to be, because there are people that record every single thing that I say, and they make videos out, which I don't care. But
well, yeah, they record a lot of people, probably.
Yeah.
So screw them for doing it. You know, if they do it, so be it. Fuck it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You can't live in fear. Fuck that.
Yeah. Oh, look who showed up. Hey, Tech.
Well.
Oops. Oh, this one, my bad. Janice says, Bill, don't retreat. Bill, you've close to recovery. Don't retreat.
I mean, she's not wrong, and like I know that, but that's I just get to where I start having certain thoughts and doing certain things, and it's like, what's worse, dealing with that or going and getting a little bit of coke and some moonshine, and like at least having, like, it does not cure the problem, that does not cure the problem. And I'm not saying go out and do this, But once you get to a certain point, it's like you just need a break from that dark place you're in, and certain substances will help you do that for a while. You just got to be careful not to rely on it all the time, because if you start relying on it, it quits working. Then you got to do more, and then just that's how full on addictions happen. So I'm very aware of that. Like I will go on a 2 or 3 or 4 day cocaine run when I don't have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there is a place I can go where all I got to do is jam. They got a really nice setup. All I got to do is jam guitar with them and fucking free coke, you know. But I can't. I don't make a habit out of going there, because if I do, I know that's going to end up. And it's okay to take that. Okay, I'm not saying anybody should do it. I'm just saying that in my situation, it's okay to take that little break once in a while. You just got to be fucking careful not to make a habit out of it, which I understand. I mean, cocaine is highly addictive. Like I never messed with meth, because that shit, man, it's like people can't really do it casually for very long, like especially women. I don't know why. I'm not being sexist. It's just what I've seen, you know, in my experience as a bondsman and just knowing people. But like the first 6 months, you're fine. It's all positive. But the next thing you know, like you can tell when a husband and wife get hooked on it, because like at 3 o'clock in the morning, he'll be outside taking his engine apart for no apparent reason and laying it very neatly, you know, on sheets in the front yard, and she'll be inside cleaning like crazy and getting a bunch of shit done. And next thing you know, they just start just not paying attention to the cleaning, and they obsess and they focus on something else that is not a positive.
Mm-hmm.
And like I've seen couples just decay in a very short amount of time. I mean, any drug can do that. Any drug will, but it's like with meth, it is such an accelerated thing. You know, like when I hear, okay, I worked with a lot of people. There were a lot of drugs at the factory that I worked at. Like I would see people taking just handfuls of Vicodin, and like the thing about Vicodin is when people overdose on it, what kills them is the Tylenol. That's why they went from Vicodin to Norco, because the Norcos have less Tylenol in them.
Yeah.
Their liver's overload. It's not the narcotic that kills them. And there is a way to extract the hydrocodone away from that. I'm not going to say it here, but if you're hooked on Norcos and you want to know how to save your liver a little bit, I'll tell you how to do that. I'm not trying to encourage anybody to do more. I'm just saying, don't fuck up your liver.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's but anyway, I mean, see, there's that fucking AD. I keep going off on tangents that aren't related to what we're doing, but anyway, the factory I worked at, when people started taking meth in there, they started taking meth so that they could work longer hours. Because we worked a lot of overtime there. And they would have voluntary overtime, and so these guys would start taking meth so that they could work 24 hours straight, go home, take a shower, eat, come back, work another 24 hours straight. These fuckers did that all the time. And I worked a couple of 24-hour shifts, but I wasn't on meth. And so they start doing it so they can work longer, or this is where the woman thing comes in. They start doing meth to lose weight. Well, yeah, they lose weight, but they also lose their teeth and some of their hair, you know, and eventually it just becomes about feeding the addiction, and there's no positive to it after a while.
Mm.
And it just seems like meth has I don't remember the numbers now, but the long-term recovery rate, meaning somebody who's been addicted to meth and stopped doing it and never went back, that recovery rate it's in the single digits. I don't remember what it was, but it's single digit, the amount of people that actually get away from a full-blown addiction to meth. So I mean, that's why I've never tried it. Plus, I don't like the way people act on it. You know, they get all weird, you know.
Unpredictable.
Yeah. And I dealt with a lot of meth people, you know, when I was, you know, hunting fugitives.
Yeah.
and they do some crazy shit, man. The good thing is, like, when you're trying to track them down, they're nice and stupid, so that they think that they're being slick, like they think that they're doing a good job of hiding from you, and then you just appear out of nowhere, and it freaks them out. So sometimes they want to fight, or like even if they're not trying to fight. Okay, we were talking about the fight or flight thing earlier. Like when you're handcuffing somebody,
Yeah.
even if they want to be cooperative, like they will still jerk away from you. They will still fidget. And I'll be like, hey dude, relax. And they're like, well, I'm not fighting you. It's like, well, you're not meaning to, but you are. So yeah, that's fight or flight. Like they're trying to cooperate, but their brain is telling them to either fight or flight. So they either want to run away from you but they can't control that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even though their mind is telling them, okay, I want to cooperate, the drug is telling them to fucking take off. And dude, I've had people, especially on meth, like I've had people that I had detained that they would beg me to let them get high one more time before they go to jail.
Yeah.
Like I never did it because I'm responsible for them. Plus, I don't want to deal with a high motherfucker.
Yeah.
But see, the thing is, though, sometimes, like if somebody is like if they're starting to withdraw, they are harder to handle than when they have their drug because they're fighting withdrawal and the drug. So I mean, there were times where I'd be like, yeah, I would think about it, but I never actually did it.
Yeah.
Like I would let them smoke. I'd let them have all the cigarettes they want, and like I try to be cool with them and keep them. I'd have people laughing all the way back to the jail. Just try to be cool with them because if you're a dick, they're gonna be a dick, especially because nobody wants to go to jail.
Yeah, that's true.
And oh man, I don't know how long you want to keep this running, so you can tell me to shut up anytime. But
Go ahead.
There was a situation. This woman skipped out on her bond, and like she wasn't trying to run. So I went to her house, knocked on the door. But before you knock on a door, you kind of look in the windows to see, okay, is there a shotgun in the corner by the door? Do they have a big dog? Is there a big, angry, burly, jealous husband in there? Shit like that you look for.
Yeah.
And so I looked in the door, man. They lived in like it was like a real small house trailer. And so I look in there, and place was fucking filthy, man. And there were two little. She had four little kids. They ranged from what was it, 2? Like between 2 and 6. She had 4 little kids, and like stair steps. And the 2 youngest ones were still in diapers, and the older of the youngest ones was like way too old to be in diapers. She should have been potty trained a long time ago.
Oh.
So anyway, I go in there and tell the mom, I gotta take you to jail. You need to call somebody to come and get your kids. And she's like, well, there is nobody. I said, well, then, like you are going to jail today. I will give you all the time you need to find some place because I don't want the fucking kids going into custody care.
Yeah.
Even though like that was another thing is some of these places you go into, there would be like they would just scatter their meth around, not really on purpose, I don't think, but like there would be fine meth powder like all over the place. And if you touch that shit, you're contaminated. Now I never had any. I got it on me a couple times, but I never got high off it or anything.
Yeah.
So anyway, these little kids are running around in there, and the 2 youngest ones are just wearing diapers, and that's it.
Oh, man.
And he's like, well, there's nobody I can call or whatever. So like I didn't want the kids to see their mommy be put in handcuffs. I didn't want to be the big, mean, scary guy. And she wasn't trying to fight or do anything sketchy. I did have to keep telling her to stop reaching. She was reaching in between her couch cushions because she was looking for a lighter to smoke a cigarette is what it was. But that makes me nervous. I see you reaching for something in your couch. My mind says, okay, probably a gun in there. And there wasn't. But like she just kept doing sketchy things. So I went ahead and handcuffed her in the front. You know what I mean? I just didn't let her kids see me actually do it. So anyway, I call the county. The county comes out, and they have these strips where they put on your skin to see if you have meth on you. And all of those kids tested positive, so they had to bring out a fucking fucking hazmat team, all dressed in the big white suits and everything. They set up a tent, and like my boots tested positive, so they had to clean my boots. But um, yeah, all those little kids had to be scrubbed down and decontaminated. Think about how scary that is. You're fucking 2 years old, and all these strange people you don't know come in. They put your mommy in handcuffs, and they set up this fucking tent and take you in there and scrub you down in these fucking suits. You know what I mean? Think about like ET. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like that kind of thing. You know?
That would be scary for them.
And that's not an uncommon story. So I mean, that's what meth does. I mean, any drug can do that, but meth does it really quickly and just yeah. So that's why I never tried meth.
That's why some people say it's methed up, instead of saying messed up.
Right.
Yeah, it can mess you up big time.
Oh, it will mess you up. There's no can about it. It will.
Yeah. Like I never got into drugs like that. For me, it was just booze, so I'm kind of glad I never went in that other route.
Yeah.
And plus too, though, like going in that route, it can alter drugs in general can alter your appearance big time.
Oh, especially meth. Oh yeah. Any drug will, but given enough time, any drug that you're addicted to is going to change your appearance in some way. Either just because you start rotting away, or you don't sleep, or you sleep too much, or you just quit showering and stuff.
Like it will age you like 10 years.
Oh, easy. Yeah, dude, I got all kinds of fucking drug stories from that.
Well, bring you up for a part 2.
Yeah, well, we can do that.
Yeah. Read some more of the comments here for a minute. Cat Eyes, from her previous 2 that she sent you. She said, Bill, you can talk to me if you need to. I will never hold this against you, that I promise you.
Well, I appreciate that, Cat Eyes. I really do. I mean, we disagree on a lot, and we yell at each other back and forth, but I do like you, Cat Eyes.
Well, as I said before about her, she's old school, so.
Well, I mean, I'm old school too,
Yeah, I guess some of us are.
I mean, when I think about Cat Eyes, I picture somebody in like a Catwoman suit with a whip.
Well, how did Ed describe her?
Oh, well, he described her as an organ playing church lady, but you know what? Even organ playing church ladies are kinky behind the scenes. You don't know what people are like behind closed doors, man.
That's true.
I mean, I have had girls that, by all appearances, they're very, conservative and well kept and very educated, but behind closed doors, man, they are some freaks.
Nice. Christine says, Bill, I really appreciate you. Now I really like you. I understand you perfectly, and I'm always available on IG. We have each other.
Oh, that's awesome.
Sarah said exactly, Bill, as to why I don't put much of my business personal life out here on the internet.
Yeah, I don't blame anybody for not letting any. Yeah, I say too much, but I mean the thing is, like, I don't care. I really don't care. The problem is like people twist shit and make things sound a way that they really aren't. That's my problem.
Yeah.
Like if I do something that's fucked up, which I do a lot, sometimes I do that on purpose just to piss people off. Like if I do something that I legitimately fucked up on and you call me out on it, fine. I'll either apologize or tell you to go fuck yourself. It's when they twist things and make things sound ways that they really aren't. That's what pisses me off.
Yeah, I don't blame you on that. I really don't. Tatiana says Bill has been doing very well, but gets inside his own head too much. We all understand that.
That's a fact. That is a fact. I do get in my head too much. My head is not a place anybody should be. If you're even thinking about getting into my head, turn around and use the emergency exit now.
Well, I guess a lot of us are guilty of that.
Yeah.
Christine again says, don't worry about recordings and bad vibes. Be you. Always be you.
No, I mean, I'm always me. I'm just an asshole. You know, what more can we do about
it? Kenzie says, both my parents had some kind of addiction. It was a constant battle. Sorry about that, Kenzie.
Yeah. It's tough on the kids, man. It really is. Oh, shit. I really like KGCB's comment there. Who's going to send their boob pics to Bill tonight? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I'll get to that one in a minute. Cat Eye says, Bill, this is the first time I ever heard your story, and I understand exactly where you're coming from. That's why I'm saying it when I am to you. I'm not being mean. I want you to know I'm here for you.
Cat Eyes, all the bullshit aside, Cat Eyes, I do appreciate that. It does mean something to me. It really does. And the same goes. Like, I know you're never going to open up to me, but you can. And like, even if we lash out at each other again, like if you tell me something that's deeply personal, I'm not going to hold that over your head. I mean, I'm keeping secrets of people that stab me in the back. You know what I mean? So.
And you're a good person for doing that, Bill. You really are. Sarah says, thank you, Bill, and everyone who shares their stories and life experiences, hard times. They all touch and help someone in some way. Well, she's right. You
know?
Yeah. Kenzie says, thank you, Sarah and Hey Tech. Haven't seen you in a while. I see him like every day. Tatiana says, alcohol and pills are harmful to the liver, which in time affects the rest of the body. And she's not wrong, you know. I just hope I kind of reverse the damage.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like people that mix like Norco or Vicodin with alcohol, it's not necessarily the hydrocodone, the narcotic that gets people, but you don't want to mix anything with alcohol, but you really don't want to mix alcohol and Tylenol or acetaminophen because it's a toxic mix. It can kill you on the spot. That's with Vicodin and Norco. That's usually what gets people with it. It's not the narcotic. It's the Tylenol, either in mass quantities or mixed with something.
Yeah, it's true. Cap says the hallucinations from meth or the lack of sleep are the most insane you can meet. Tell what is real and what is not. Even after being sober, still can't figure out what is real.
Yeah, I don't have any experience with meth myself, but like they'll see shadow people. Like they'll like you'd be talking to them and they're talking to somebody that's allegedly right beside you, but there's nobody there, but they're talking to them.
Yeah, I could kind of relate, not to that degree, but like if I stay up for like a few days straight, like it feels like my mind's playing tricks on me.
Oh yeah, definitely. I get that too.
Like I would see something like go by, like pass me by, but nothing was there.
Well, see, here's what happens with me with like if I go for say 3 days or more without sleep, and this is like I'm not talking about using any drugs. I'm just talking about because of lack of sleep. Like I'll get to a point where like anytime somebody texts me, they'll just be like, "Hey, how you doing?" And they're not meaning that they're being legit, but in my mind, I'm like, "Oh shit, they're spying on me for somebody else," because that kind of thing does happen a lot to me.
Yeah.
But even if it's not really happening, like I'll get that in my head and I can't get it out, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this person is spying on me," which they're really not. But that's what happens when you go for like 3 days or more without sleep. Your mind goes to fucked up places.
It really does. I've been there, you know. And I still get like that if I don't sleep, you know. Like I'm not getting younger, and I think my sleeping's going to get worse throughout the years. KJCB says, is a meth high similar to an opioid high?
No, they're completely different drugs. Meth speeds you up, opioids slow you down. Yeah, they're completely different drugs. I mean, I don't have any experience getting high on meth, but I like if you can equate that high to a coke high, they're completely different things. And the thing is, like, I mix both, so that's kind of, they call it a speedball, but really a speedball is like it's a mixture of cocaine and heroin and injected. But I've never been. That's one thing else I missed is I never got into needles. I'm not afraid of them. That just wasn't my thing. I mean, I got lucky I didn't get on heroin. That's another thing is a lot of the people that I knew that I worked in that factory with that were on pain pills for legitimate reasons. And back then, the doctors would really hand them out because the company would, if you got hurt at work, the company would be putting pressure on the doctor to put you back to work, even if you weren't really ready. So they would just shove you full of pills and send you back to work. And then before you know it, you're addicted. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, we're not giving you pain pills anymore. And that desperation of not having the opioids that you're used to. And then like if you try to go out on the street, pills are very expensive, especially if you have a hardcore habit. Heroin's a lot cheaper. That's why a lot of people go from legitimate pills to heroin, because sometimes you just can't find the pills, but you can always get heroin. And it's cheaper. I never had to go down that road, thank God. I really probably would be dead by now. So I missed that bullet. But it's like all these people that I used to know and I'm not talking about street punks. I'm talking about hardworking family guys that would never fuck anybody over until they got hooked on the shit. And then all of a sudden they're buying extras outside of the prescription, which is exactly what happened to me. And then all of a sudden they're on heroin. And these are not people that you would ever think would do heroin. And next thing you know, you hear, oh yeah, that dude OD'd 6 months ago. He died 6 months ago. So what the fuck? That's happened a lot to people I know.
Tommy C says, if anyone here is battling meth, just know that it's possible to stop. I was a daily IV meth user for years, and I'm now 8 years clean. Just start with a 24-hour goal, one day at a time.
That's
Congratulations,
awesome.
Tommy.
Yeah, dude. Anytime somebody gets away from anything, it's awesome. But like meth is like the hardest thing. They say it's the hardest thing to kick and to stay kicked. I knew a dude. He had to go. Like he was a good kid. And then he got hooked up with a girl. I mean, this girl, she was smoking hot. I'll give him that. But she was a total whore. And like he wasn't used to having a fuck machine with him all the time, right? So whatever she did, he would do. Just because they were a couple, but like she was cheating on him real bad and stuff, and he just overlooked it. And she was on meth, so then he got on meth to be cool. And they split up, but he was still stuck with a drug problem, and he actually had to go out of state. His program I ran into him, I don't know, about 5 years ago. They put him on a 5-year program. Like he couldn't come back here because like his old stomping grounds, like just the town that he lived in where he'd get high all the time would be a trigger. He'd see a certain apartment building and remember getting high in there all the time, and boom, it would trigger him. Or just whatever. So he had to go, he signed papers, and I don't know how enforceable it is, but he signed papers where they had control over his life for 5 years. And they shipped him all the way to the other side of the country where he didn't know anybody. And he said he went to 90 days of actual rehab there. And then when he got out, he went to a halfway house, and then like they helped him find a new job. Like he gave up a really good job over this shit. And so I helped him find a job and help him get out on his own. But during that 5-year contract, like they can order you back into rehab at any time. They can piss test you. Like you have a regular weekly piss test, but they can also do it, outside of that anytime they want. But he said it's a contract, but I don't really know how how they can enforce that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Tatiana says addiction is always so damn sad when it comes to children. Parents in addition don't think that they are doing anything wrong, but the children that grow up with it, addicts know better.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she's right on that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so sad, you know, when kids are involved, because well, I mean, like that story I just told, you know, those little ones on, like, I'm not, I guess I'm getting softer in my old age, but back then I never cried at funerals. I never, like, nothing really ever made me cry, but like those kids, you know, little fucking 2-year old and like a 3.5-year old, you know, and the 3.5-year old still in diapers. Um, and they all had like sippy cups filled with Kool-Aid, you know, which is fine once in a while, but you can't just give a kid sugar like that all the time.
No, you can't.
And fucking the house was fucking filthy.
Like a hoarder's house.
It wasn't really a hoarder's house because like it looked like people that are on meth real bad. I mean, of course they eventually lose their jobs because they either can't get to work or they do fucked up things at work or they fail a piss test. So it wasn't really a hoarder because like they had sold off everything that they owned.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like all they had was like shit furniture that they had picked up, you know, somebody was discarding. That's what they had.
Oh man.
So it wasn't that. It was it was just like papers and just like filth because like they never vacuumed. Well, I mean, like there was meth dust just all over the place. Like they had like a black end table, so you could really see the meth dust on there. Yeah, when the hazmat team came in, there's a special name for that hazmat team, and I forget what it is now. But they specialize in you know, decontaminating people that have meth on them, or I don't know what all they do, but yeah, seeing those kids, man, and all they know is that that's their mommy and something bad's happening, and there were strangers, you know, scrubbing me down that are in these scary ass hazmat suits. You know, of course the kids are crying, and it doesn't matter how horrible a toddler's parent is, they still love that parent. That is still their mommy. They still, even though they're neglected as fuck, that is still their source of security to a degree. It doesn't matter to them that their mommy is a horrible mommy. They still love her. They still want to be with her, you know?
Yeah.
It was just horrible.
I couldn't imagine, you know. I really can't. Russell's mom says organ playing church ladies are the worst. They use their organs to hide how effing kinky they are.
Oh, that's no lie, man. I tell you what. You don't like yeah. All you see is the prim and proper church lady with. And any of you folks out here that are my age, do you remember Saturday Night Live when they had that character that Dana Carvey played, the church lady?
Oh yeah.
Well, isn't that special? You know, that's what she looks like, you know, above the organ, but like below the bench, you don't know what she's wearing under there.
Back when the show used to be funny.
Yeah.
Jenny T's like, I'm so glad that I stopped getting pills on the street before the whole illicit fentanyl epidemic started. I would absolutely be dead by now.
Yeah, the drug game got, I mean, you always assume a certain amount of risk when you're into the drug game because I mean, you deal with shady people. You could possibly get arrested. You always take, you know, you could overdose it. You always take a certain amount of risk when you play the drug game. But now, and I ran into this problem. Like they'll have these pills. They look just like the real thing. Okay, let's say that they look like Norco. They look just like the real thing, but they're actually made out of fentanyl.
Yeah.
And like my whole thing is like, why don't you just instead of bullshitting me and tell me that this is hydrocodone, just fucking tell me it's fentanyl. I'm gonna buy them anyway. You know what I mean? And it's the thing is like it's hard to like when you give me a legitimate pain pill, I know how many I can take, safely. It's not going to kill me. Like I know what level of fucked up I need to I how many I have to take to get to a certain level.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about fentanyl is like the shit is made in people's bathtubs and pressed together, and you like it's not measured the same way every time. Like I don't care if they make them all weak or make them all strong. I just would like for them to be consistent so you know what the fuck you're doing,
Yeah.
Because even from the same batch, you could like say you take two, you don't really feel much, so you take another one, but that last one you take has 10 times the amount of actual narcotic in it than the other ones did, and you fucking one of the times when I woke up in the hospital, they said I had 7 times the amount of opioids in me. That for my body weight, it should have killed me 7 times over. And then they found, I can't remember. I think they said it was like I don't know 5. I don't remember now. Like a whole bunch of different types of narcotics, which some of them, like I remember taking Xanax. I remember taking other things, but there was a couple things in there that I do not remember having. You know what I mean? So evidently, somewhere along the line, I hooked up with some people that had some shit that I didn't have, and I took it for them, and wound up. And I don't even know how I got there. I don't know if they found me on the side of the road. I don't know if somebody brought me there. I don't know.
Yeah, you said that you had a concussion, right? Or you had multiple concussions, right?
I've had a shitload of concussions. Plus, I've had compound concussions. See, it takes 90 days for a full-on concussion. It takes 90 days for that to heal. Even if you feel better, it's still healing. But if you get another concussion within that 90 days and you get a compound concussion, that really fucks with you. Like you hear stories about, and that also causes depression. You hear stories about like pro wrestlers and pro football players. They just lose their fucking minds. And like, I'm worried about that. Like, I don't get violent. I don't have a bad temper, but I'm worried that could happen because of this shit. The way it affects me is, I just lost my, I was just going to say it affects my memory. Cause like, I can't remember dates for shit. I can't remember people's names for shit. I have a hard time gauging if something was 2 months ago or 6 months ago. I have a hard time trying to remember that kind of shit.
So it still affects you to this day, then?
Yeah, I just a few months ago, I went to a new specialist. I did it just to get her to shut the fuck up. I didn't really want to go, and I haven't followed through with whatever it was they want to do, because we're not really talking that much anymore. So I said, "Fuck it, I ain't doing that." But see, I forget. Damn it, fucking memory. Oh, TBI. They always told me I had TBI, which is traumatic brain injury. But this last doctor he's a concussion specialist. Man, I can't remember his name. Dude out of Chicago, but he said it's more appropriate to call it CTE. And like I don't really know what the big difference is, but so yeah.
Yeah, because the reason I asked because I suffered a concussion 7 years ago, and I'm still feeling the effects to this day.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Some of them never really heal.
No, like I get this really weird headache on the one side of my head. I never got prior to that concussion,
Yeah.
And
It's that way sometimes if it's bad enough. I mean, how did you get yours?
I don't remember. I was at the club that night, and next thing I know, I woke up. I was in the hospital.
Yeah.
I never fixing my head.
Yeah, don't that suck, man? Like when you're first coming to, like, what do I do now? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's when they're pumping the booze out of me too that night.
Yeah.
And my shirt was all ripped. It was covered in blood.
You probably said the wrong thing to a jealous husband, and pow.
Probably. Yeah, they put like 20, almost 25 stitches in my one side of the head there, forehead.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody probably clocked you with a beer bottle or something.
Probably. I don't remember. But you can still see a little bit of the marks even to this day, but it's not as bad.
Yeah.
But I get these weird headaches. Like it's not your normal kind of headache.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about, and there's nothing that will help it. You can
Yeah.
take all the ibuprofen you want or whatever. Like I get migraines anyway. I don't really get them as much as I used to. But like I've run the gamut on like Imitrex and Maxalt, and like years and years ago they gave me Valium because they didn't, and what Firanol. Firanol, like you would think that it'd be a wild thing, but like I took it. I had a bunch of them left over from like years ago. Um, like when I was like getting desperate for drugs, I went through my old medicine cabinet and found these. But you would think they would be really cool because Firanol is a combination. It was Firanol with codeine,
Yeah.
and it's a combination. It's a combination of you have the narcotic painkiller. You have it's a combination of speed and what else is in there? God, it's a downer. Some kind of barbiturate. I don't remember what it's called now. But I mean, barbiturates are what they gave people before benzos because benzos are supposed to be safer. I don't know. But anyway, it's an upper, it's a downer, and it's a painkiller. You would think that that would be a really awesome thing to take the party on. Nah, I took like 5 or 6 of them, and it didn't do jack shit for me. So
Yeah. Janice asked me, she's like, "Do you have swelling on the brain or bleed?" No. All the doctor told me that night was, you suffer concussion. And
yeah,
I just
they don't always scan that far to see if you have bleeding on the brain or whatever. They don't always do that.
Yeah. But I remember too, like this is 7 years ago now, so it's probably going to affect me forever.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember my parents said you should go see a doctor, but I said they're not going to do nothing. They can't.
Yeah, there's really not a whole lot they can do. Like I said, I just a few months ago I went to a specialist in Chicago, and they wanted to like do more tests. I had an MRI, and I forget there was another thing they did. I can't remember what it's called though. They set this thing on your head, and like they give you certain things to do, and then they watch how your brain functions with it and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But they wanted to do more tests and more tests. I mean, I fuck that. The only reason I went was to make somebody else happy because she kept hounding me about it.
Yeah.
She's like, well, there's a special. I can't remember his name now. I'd have to look, but there's a specialist in Chicago and he's the best and blah blah blah. And I'm like, I don't want to fucking do that. And so finally, I'm like, just make the goddamn point. But see, my insurance didn't cover him. He was out of network.
Mm-hmm.
So she paid for it out of her pocket.
Oh shit.
And, yeah, and that's why like because of her job, like she gets a huge discount.
Mm-hmm.
So like it wasn't as much, but yeah. So, but like I said, I never followed through. Because I know that there's not a whole lot they can really do.
Yeah, I guess we're stuck with it,
Mm-hmm.
And that was the only time I ever got a concussion, and I was 35 at the time, so it's kind of old to get one.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, really, actually, I think the older you are, the more susceptible you are, and like the harder it is for them to heal. But I don't know. Like I wouldn't call 35. I don't know. I'm not a fucking doctor. I'm not a doctor, but I sure like to play one, ladies.
But yeah, compared to like you hear like the hockey players that are early 20s and they suffer
Mm-hmm.
them.
Yeah.
But like it's very rare that you hear someone like in the mid 30s get one.
Well, yeah, it probably you're less aggressive in your mid-30s. You know, a 20-year-old is way more aggressive than a 35-year-old.
Yeah.
And you're more likely to go out and do fucked up shit when you're 20 because you're a little smarter at 35, or at least I hope.
I really wasn't at the time.
Well, yeah, I get you. You know, I'm an old motherfucker, but I still sometimes have the spirit of a 20-year-old.
Yeah. Well, I partied till I was 39, so.
What's that?
I partied till I was 39, so.
Yeah.
I didn't mind though. But I knew my time was winding down though at the clubs.
Yeah, that's the thing. That even as fun as going out to clubs and shit and drinking with your buddies and flirting with the ladies or whatever, as fun as that is, even after a while, that shit gets boring, you know?
Yeah, that's true. But I haven't done it in like 3 years now. So, and part of it was because, yeah.
Well, don't, because I don't want you to get like triggered into drinking again or some shit, you know?
Well, I won't. I almost slipped back in May, and I was at the bar, and I almost drank again. And John, you know who John Davis is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he told me, he messaged me, he's like, get out of there. So I did. So if it wasn't for him, I went back to drinking. I really would have.
Yeah, it's good to have people like that. Sometimes that's all it takes. You know, I've been there where like I was gonna do a certain thing and like just out of like I won't once I get to a certain point, I'm not calling anybody for help. I don't want to, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking to anybody, but there were times where like I was right on the edge of like I already had the pills. I was like right on the edge of just taking everything I had. Um, like I was that right there. I was, you know, I was going to do it, but then like out of the blue, and they don't know it. They don't know what kind of shape I'm in.
Yeah.
But like they called or whatever, and like that was enough of a distraction to where I just didn't feel like doing it anymore. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
it was weird because like I hate texting. Like if I'm in that kind of mood and you text me, I might text you back, but it's gonna be like little 2-word yes or no. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's pretty rare that. I mean, I will say, yeah, I'm just feeling very dark. I will say that, but usually they're like, "Hey, how you doing?" I'll be like, "I'm okay." And like when I'm giving you little short answers like that, I'm not really okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I'm not making jokes and shit, then yeah, I'm really not doing that good.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I'm going to do something, you know. But yeah, sometimes that's all it takes is just for somebody to call and bullshit about anything, you know.
Yeah.
And that night she just happened to call me instead of texting me, which is awesome. I fucking hate texting.
Yeah.
And that was all it took, you know. And I never told her what kind of shape I was in, but yeah.
It's always good to have someone, fall back on.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, good on John Davis for getting you out of there, though.
Yeah, and my cousin too had a hand in that. And that's the only, other than for my parents, it's the only family member I would speak to. And she's like, "You didn't do anything stupid, did you?" I'm like, "No."
Not yet. Yeah.
Yeah. No, because I went to the bar and I was supposed to meet an old friend there. I haven't seen her in a few years, and she was running late. And another friend of mine was a bartender there, so. And I ordered water, and then I just looked around and I saw everyone drinking. It wasn't that; it was just because my back was against the watch or what I went through, and I'm like, oh, fuck, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, I had no point, so I said I might as well drink. And that's why I messaged John, and he told me like, yeah, get out of there.
Yeah.
So I thank him for that.
Well, I mean, I'm glad that it came in time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, it's good that that's the thing is like in the back of your mind, you wanted to be talked out of it. But that's the process we have to go through sometimes, you know? It's like I want to do this, but I don't want to do this. And like if you're on the fence or whatever, Like, and you know you need to be pushed to one side, to the other side, and somebody helps you do that, then good, you know?
Yeah, you're right, you know. Like when you were under the influence, did you feel like you were like two different people?
I always feel like I'm two different people. I mean,
Yeah.
no, not really, because yeah, of course my mood changes. You know, you go from sometimes from bad to worse, but no, I've never really felt like I was two different people, except, well, I mean, okay, like looking back to, if you compare me to when I was 30, and then compare me to 10 years later when things got bad when I was 40, those are two different people.
Yeah.
Because that guy that was 30 years old never would have let himself get that way. That guy never would let himself get that way, but he did. And the thing is, like, it didn't just happen all at once. It was gradual, you know, and it took a long time, but it happened. You know, just a little bit here, a little bit there, a few more pills, few more pills, few more pills, and then before you knew it, it was completely out of control. So from that aspect, yeah, that's two different people. And like, here's something that pisses my ex off is we had a talk a while back, and like she was kind of hitting around about maybe getting back together, and I said, look, that guy that you fell in love with all those years ago, that guy's dead, and he's not coming back.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I just had to be blunt with her to get. I mean, it's true. I am not the same guy. I was a much better man back then. I am not. I am not the same guy I used to be.
Yeah.
So from that aspect, yeah, two different people.
Yeah, I feel that way too. Like during my drinking days, I felt like a completely different person,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like compared to now. But I always feel like that other part of me is still there somehow. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, it always will be because it was you all along. You know, it just.
Yeah.
I mean, you're always going to have that. We're always going to have that regret of shit that we did because we were more interested in booze than we were about living life. You know, or whatever your poison is.
Yeah. Like
We just have to live with that. You know.
it's true. Like I you probably burn a lot of bridges like I did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we can't really repair it, you know.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is, a lot of the bridges, especially towards the end, a lot of the bridges that I burned, I burnt on purpose because I don't ever want to associate with those people again. And it's not because they are bad people.
Yeah.
It's because they are either people I was getting shit off of, or because they were in one way or another, even though they might not have known it, but they
Mm-hmm.
were big time enablers.
Yeah.
You know, like you know, I'd be going through withdrawal, and they'd be like, "What the fuck's wrong with you? You need to go to a doctor like right now." And I'm like, "It's not fucking anything they can cure." And you know, eventually I tell them what happened, and like say, you know, I'd be like, hey, "I don't have my pain pills." Like I wouldn't tell them I'm a full blown addict. I would just say I ran out of pain pills. I wouldn't tell them why or how. But like they would have an old prescription from when they went to a dentist of, you know, Vicodin or what the fuck ever. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to tell them that I'm a full blown addict and I'm trying to quit. And then they'd go home, get whatever they had laying around, bring it back to me. And I would tell you, you can't, somebody that's in full blown withdrawal like that, you put pills in front of their face, they are going to take them. I don't care how strong a motherfucker is. Um, so I'd take them. You know, you'd only feel better for like an hour and then you're right back to it. And then you're starting all over again, you know,
Yeah.
but they weren't doing that on purpose. They didn't realize what they were doing. It was really not their fault.
Mm-hmm.
So, like some of the bridges I burned, I mean, yeah, and I burned bridges that I regret. But the thing is, some of the bridges that I burned, eventually we built a new bridge,
Yeah.
and a lot of that was really easier than what I deserved. I mean, it wasn't like like I never stole from anybody. I never like I never did anything that fucked up somebody's life, you know. Well, except for my family. But like they never had to go hungry because of it. They were never homeless because of it. Like my house, they never had to deal with my house being raided because of it. Oh shit! The time my house did get raided, luckily they weren't there, but that's a whole other story and not related to drugs. That's another story for another day. But
I will bring you up for part 2 eventually. So.
But yeah,
so I'll be honest. During my drinking days, I'll be honest about this. I said it before, and I'll say it again. I was an asshole of a human being. You know, like I ruined friendships that I've known people my whole entire life, almost 40 years. You know.
Yeah.
And
no, I did that too, man.
Yeah. Like there's this one guy, he was like I'm an only child, and he was like the closest thing I had to as a brother, right? And I basically turned around and like stabbed him in the back in a way. Oh, Bryden, you're still an asshole. Yes, I am, Bryden. Thank you.
Yeah, we're all gonna have to get matching tattoos about an asshole club or some shit.
That's right. And then put the penguin in there since he showed his to Chomo.
Oh God. You people are perverts, and I am deeply disappointed and proud of you.
Thank you, Bill. We appreciate it. But yeah, in all seriousness, though, thank you for coming up and telling your story. Appreciate it a lot.
No problem, man. Thanks for letting me do it.
Yeah, and you will come up for part 2 down the line?
Yeah, we can do that.
Nice. Yeah, I know it started off a little rocky with your internet, but you know.
Yeah, I had to fucking climb way high up in the tree. I just wasn't high enough the first couple of tries.
Did you really climb up? Yeah, you probably did.
Well, actually, no, not this time, but I have before. I think on Locksmith's stream. A lot of people thought I was joking, but I really did have to climb up in a tree. Because where I live, I have no signal. I either have to like go to my parents' house or go up the road or get high in a fucking tree. But the way my body's wrecked, I can't always climb trees. So
yeah. Big says love to continue this on VC one time and share meth as a high schooler.
All right, we can do that.
I read Cat Eye's comments earlier. Cat Eyes, I'm really sorry that happened to you. You know. But yeah, thank you again, Bill.
That is so fucking horrible, Cat Eyes.
Yeah, you read her comment?
Yeah, I've seen her talk about that before.
Yeah, I'm so sorry about that, Cat Eyes. I really am.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine, you know.
I can't imagine. Like I was a wreck because when my daughter was pregnant, before my daughter was born, her mom and we had another baby on the way, and she started spotting and bleeding and stuff. And then one day, like we kept taking her to the hospital, and they were like, "Oh, there's nothing we can do. Go home." And then one day she this is another thing I carry around with me, but not as bad anymore, I guess. But she hemorrhaged one time, and we were sitting on the couch, and she's like, "Bill, something's wrong." So I looked over, and like her pants, it was like a horror movie. Like her pants were just saturated with blood from the waist down, you know. And I'm like, "Fuck." And like at the time, our local hospital sucks. Like they've killed more of my relatives than they've saved, right?
Yeah.
So we always go to a bigger town, you know, where there's a better hospital. And I didn't want to wait for an ambulance, and then I didn't want to have to argue with them because they were just going to take her wherever's closest. They aren't going to take her to the good hospital.
Yeah.
So I just stuffed her. I had a really nice 1986 Z28 Camaro. Thing was fast as fuck, but So anyway, I put her, in the car. Like I didn't worry about laying towels down or nothing. I didn't give a fuck. And put her in the car, and it was a Friday night because I remember fighting the Friday night traffic. And I flew down to Lafayette, where the good hospital was. And usually it took, if you drive like a sane person, it usually took like 45 minutes to get there, but I made it there in like a little over 20 minutes. I wasn't paying attention to that, but she was, because she was scared to death. One, she's fucking bleeding out. Two, we're losing our baby. And three, I don't even know how fast that car would go because the speedometer only went to 120. But so anyway, we're flying us down there. We get her into the hospital, and she wound up losing the baby anyway.
I'm sorry.
And then my daughter, when she was pregnant, she was doing the same thing. Like she started spot bleeding when she wasn't supposed to. And she was having like the same kind of cramps and everything, exact same thing. And I'm scared to death we're gonna lose both of them. I thought for sure we were gonna lose my grandbaby and possibly her too, because like with her mom, they said that had we not got her to the hospital when we did, she would have bled out too.
Oh my God.
So there was that, and I was a fucking wreck just thinking about losing my grandbaby that I had never even met. You know what I mean? So I can't even imagine what people go through to actually lose one. Yeah, I've had a couple girls that have had miscarriages, and it sucks. It's hard to deal with. But I can't imagine losing a child that you've gotten to, like when they're little and like they first start looking you in the eye. I can't even describe what that feels like. It's like it's like you're looking into each other's souls, and you have that bonding moment, and you've held them and you've fed them and you've changed them and you've cuddled with them, and then all of a sudden they're dead. That like fucking, I can't even get my mind around what that has to feel like,
I can't either. Although I have no kids of my own to speak of, but
that you know of.
But yeah, what's that old saying? No parent should ever outlive their kid.
Right.
And I guess that's a true saying, it's heartbreaking when a parent has to go through that.
It is. I can't imagine what that feels like. It just.
Yeah, it's got to be like my heart goes out to the parents that go through that, But yeah, again, Cat Eyes, I'm so sorry that you went through that. It's got to be very devastating. All right, I guess over the 3-hour mark, I might as well end this. Thank you again, Bill, for coming up. I really appreciate it.
Hey, no problem. I've told little bits and pieces of this stuff, on panels before, but I don't think I know I've never told like the whole story all the way through. And like, I left a lot out. I really did, but most of that, like I can never talk about, so.
Yeah. But I'll definitely have you come up for like a part 2 down the line.
All right. Yeah, I'll do that.
Brian, you don't have to thank me. Just thank Bill, for telling his story.
No problem. I'm glad to do it.
Yeah. And if someone uses this against you, screw them,
Yeah, I mean, I just it's just a part of the risk you take. I know it's going to happen. I just don't care.
Yeah.
Everybody can get fucked as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Wrestler's Mom, can you put the links into a lot of the channels, please? Like Bill's, Bryden's, Tech, and Sammy's. And Bad Guy's got a panel coming up at 1 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. And I don't know when next time you're going live, Bill.
I have no idea either.
If you go live Monday night, though, I might not be available. So,
what do you got going on Monday?
It's Thanksgiving over here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you guys got fucked up holidays.
Yeah, we do. I'll never understand how we have different Thanksgivings.
Yeah, I don't know. Our land mass was more or less discovered at the same time, so I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, I got Thanksgiving on Monday, so I already got my food ready. Picked up a bunch of vegan food.
Oh, you're a vegan?
Yeah. See, there you go. Happy Thanksgiving there, WPG.
Can I ask, is that just for health reasons or just for something to do, or like are you mad that I milk bees, or?
Oh, no. When I chose to quit drinking, like when I was drinking, I was eating very unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that was also putting weight on. So when I
Right.
chose to quit drinking, I wanted to eat healthy.
I
So,
got you.
and like I wouldn't force that on anyone. I say, you gotta be vegan.
Yeah, that's the thing. When I hear vegan, that's usually, I know it's a stereotype. That's usually, in my experience, that's usually how they are.
Yeah, like I would never force that, but I would recommend it.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Sure.
wouldn't force that. Um, it took a long while for me to get where I am today. As I said, almost 3 years. Like a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times, I feel like I'm in my early 20s again, and I thank that kind of food for it. I really do.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like that whole part of my life where, and I'm not clean now, but like I have way more control over my drugs than I did a few years ago.
Yeah.
That's why here's part of my issue with people. I wish pot did something for me. Like the times that I've tried pot, it either did nothing at all, or it made me feel ways that I don't ever want to feel again. Like it didn't help me with pain, it didn't help my anxiety. It just doesn't work for me. I wish it would. It's got to be better than the fucking poppy plants I'm consuming. Um, but here's the deal: people say, "Oh, I'm sober, but I smoke pot." Well, you need to look up the definition of sober. Yes, I'm glad that you're off of heroin, and
Hmm.
I don't care that people smoke pot, but that's not really being sober.
Yeah.
So people come down on me because, like, I'll say I'm relatively sober because, like, I still take pills most days for pain control because I actually do have a legitimate purpose for it. So I'm not clean.
Yeah.
But for the most part, the last several months, and yeah, I go on benders for a day or two. Like I'll drink like a motherfucker and take way too many pills, and once in a great while I'll get cocaine. Um, but yeah, people say, "Oh, you're not sober." Well, you know what? I won't piss clean, but I like taking stuff just to control pain does not get me high in any way.
Hmm.
Like those tests you can download on your phone to check your reflexes.
Yeah.
That things pop up and you got to hit them. My score is about the same whether I haven't had any or whether I've had any. So like it's not even dulling my reflexes now. So I don't know. We can debate that all day long, I guess, but
Hmm.
I don't know.
Well, we'll save it for part two. When I have you come back on.
Right. And I'm not trying to argue with anybody. I'm just making a point.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
yeah, dude, I really got to use the little boys' room. So
yeah. I went over the 3 hour mark, which is fine. I usually do. So, I want to thank everyone that wished me a happy Thanksgiving. I appreciate it.
yeah,
And
happy Thanksgiving, dude.
yeah, thank you, Bill. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'll show you what I got in my freezer. It's like full of. Yeah, like I'll text you the picture of that. It's just stacked full of meatloaf.
All right, cool. I would
But
show
yeah,
you what's in my freezer, but I don't want to go to jail.
don't incriminate yourself.
Hmm. All
But
right,
yeah,
y'all. Appreciate
yeah,
you listening to us babble for 3 fucking hours, but it had to
yeah,
be done.
yeah. Thank you again, Bill. I really appreciate this.
Hey, no problem, man.
Okay, I got a OnlyFans account.
Awesome.
Nice. Now I finally made it.
Dude, if you shave your toes, I'll join your OnlyFans.
I'll consider it.
All right, y'all. Peace out. I'll see you on the other side. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me on, Terrence.
You're welcome.
And everybody, stay naked.
You heard him. Oh, now Matt showed up. Matt, you're late. All right. Thank you everyone for showing up here tonight. I appreciate it. As I said, Bad Guy's going to be on live at 1 a.m. Eastern time. So stay tuned for his video or his stream. I mean, Brian, I'm just going to pin theirs in the comment section after. All right. About to end this, guys. Peace, everyone, and have a good night. And go check out Bad Guy at 1 a.m. Eastern for his stream. Thank you for joining. Appreciate it. Night.